did the podcast show.
Oh, look at that.
Okay.
Hey everybody, we are here with GameHounds. Hi, how you doing? We're just getting ready to set up to start the actual show, but we wanted to say hello and also introduce that guy right there. That guy. No, look, point up. There you go. That guy. That's
That guy.
Andrew Smith, our new third chair. Welcome.
Hey, how's it going?
You know him if you've played with us. You may have met him as Creation Chaos. He's been on the show a couple times, back when we were audio only, and now he is our third chair. At least, I mean, and in fact, Goalie has said that he might. I just spoke to him a couple days ago, and he said he may come in sometime. But right now, his life is kind of crazy, especially with the shut-in order. So yeah, and so I'm finishing up my lunch. This is our new time, by the way, everybody in the chat room already. Thank you for joining us on our new time. Hey, Corey. You'll be glad to know we'll be talking about Warframe. No, you're not the Warframe guy.
Wait, you will?
Oh, I will for sure.
That guy will.
Oh, okay. I thought it was Edie.
He will. I'm not.
Oh no,
Fuck
and
no.
I'm going to pitch it hard. So
Hey,
I have a plan.
I said I'd be into it, but I just got other things to play.
I know.
I mean, I have worked out a script. I have plot points and an outline.
Do you have? Is it like a flow chart where if Edie
Yeah.
says this, then you go here? If she says that, go that way.
It's mostly a lot of no's. Is like something
Oh yeah,
about
no. Well, yeah, the moment you get to a yes, that's when you stop, because then you've succeeded.
Yeah, exactly.
So
But I
pardon
mean,
me while I'm eating lunch.
There's a lot of no's in this. Like
Mhm.
far too many. But hopefully, we won't need all of them.
Oh, you're going to need all of them.
Mm.
So the answer is no.
Well, we'll get there. It'll be fine.
You know, we're going to have to do it for charity. That would be the one thing that would make me do it.
Charity.
For Child's Play, I would do it for Child's Play. But I would have to have some severe inducements from the community as a donation.
Basically, everyone's going to have to throw money at EDA too.
Pay me to play. Absolutely. You I don't know. Were you around, Nick? Yes, you were around when Fable came out. Was it
Yes,
Fable 3?
I was around when Fable.
No,
Wait,
I mean,
you mean
on the podcast when we were
Not
actually thinking
the first one.
No, but like the last one where
Yeah,
you could
Fable
have
3?
sex and children.
Yeah, remember you left our children in a hell
I
dimension.
left our child.
A
Right.
child.
But do you remember that there was at a point where I was working, this is long before Child's Play existed, where Kelly Smith and I were going to auction off for charity our
Oh,
Fable
yeah.
virginity. And if you went, we would have your child in Fable for
I
a
missed that
one.
charitable donation to breast cancer research.
I do remember that.
I was shutting down trying to figure out which breast cancer one I could get a sponsorship with to auction off my baby making machine.
Did any of them? I don't think any of them agreed to it.
All of them were like, and you have to remember, this was back when gaming was not seen as what it is. It was seen kind of, it wasn't seen as legitimate. So I called up Susan G. Komen and they're like, no, we want nothing to do with that. I'm like, it'd be really good. It's a legitimate thing. And I think it'd be absolutely appropriate to be donating this money towards breast cancer research because we would be auctioning off our baby makers. And they were like, no, we are not getting involved with that. Now they're sorry. Because I gave it to you, Nick, and then I left our child in the hellscape.
Yeah. Still there today.
Yep. I wonder how he's doing.
He's dead. He's
How
long
old is
since
he now?
dead.
What year was that?
Oh, I don't remember. Old enough to walk and hold hands. I know that.
Right, but
Yeah,
how
he
old is
became
he
Doom Guy.
now?
He became what?
He became Doom Guy. Like the kid didn't die.
Oh,
Like just became Doom
I
Guy.
like that. He grew. Yeah, he grew up. No, if anything, he'd be like the opposite of Doom Guy because he grew up amongst the demons. He'd be like
Oh yeah.
Mowgli in hell.
No, he's been killing them the entire time.
It's the Lion King. Whoa.
Yeah.
Mowgli of hell. I love it.
In the Jungle Book. He's
Ooh, ooh, ooh. I want to
Raised
be
by
like you.
wolves?
Ooh, ooh.
Just imagine a parademon singing that. It actually works. Because they float. He could sit on it as he's floating along a river of lava.
What year did Fable 3? What was that? Was Fable 3, right?
Yeah.
I want to say 2008, but that seems wrong.
I have no idea. 2008 seems
2010.
too-
Oh, it's close.
Yeah. Yeah, it's right to 2008. Yeah. 2010. So it's been 10 years since that kid, and the kid was old enough to
yeah.
walk and talk. Was he like probably 5?
Well, also remember, like, Fable works on a extended time, right?
Right.
Time
Well,
moves
I mean, and then
differently.
he's in the hellscape, which who says what kind of,
Right, anything could
time
happen.
Yeah,
space
that's
continuum
true,
they're working
yeah.
on. But I mean, in theory, if that kid was, because when we let him go, he was walking and talking, so he's probably 5 or say 5. So he would be 15 years old now. Our child is almost old enough to drive. What you gonna get the kid? What's the first car? I mean, I'm sure he's asking for, he's
No, I'm
getting
not
his
giving him
learner's permit
any-
and getting his first car. Are we gonna
No.
save up and get him a car? Or are we just gonna let him use one of our used ones, one of our old ones when we get
Not,
him a
he
car?
can get walk. Just give him a bike.
Bike in hell.
He's
It's
gonna
a-
work to get his own first car.
Hell
Like-
is very
Oh,
dense. It's like
yeah,
a
good
city. You don't want a car in hell. Like, there's no place to park it. That's the point.
That's the point.
Because-
That's a good point. There are probably very few parking spaces in hell.
Hmm. It's very crowded.
Yeah.
For not, this isn't the first time I felt this, Edie, but you terrify me as a mom from the video games I've seen you play. Like
That's why I never
Sims.
became a mother. I am I recognized this very early on. This is why I have never procreated. I would be a terrible mother.
This also makes me think, like, it would be a good time for another Fable. Like, it's been long enough that
Wait, AC
there
Ray
aren't-
says the initial release date is 2004. No, that was Fable
think he
1.
meant
We're talking
Fable-
about
yeah.
Fable 3, which is when we
I
had the
feel
child.
like it's been more than enough. Like, that type of RPG it's been a while.
I loved all the Fable games, but I felt they kind of got worse over time.
They did.
So I'd like to see them approached in a fresh way.
Yes, yes. The end of Fable 3 was especially disappointing.
Because if you
Just
play
What was
the
the
first
name
one,
of the AI child that they released that Peter Molyneux said,
don't
"Oh,
think
this is
they-
going to change the way
No, they
everything is
never-
going to be done," and he never.
Never
and
actually
immediately
released
everybody
that.
was like, "Oh, this is going to be really inappropriate for like pedophiles." What was the name of that?
I
The
don't
tech
remember
demo
that.
he did.
Yeah, that didn't get released though. I know that.
No,
much.
it did not, because immediately everybody was like, "Oh, this is To Catch a Predator." Oh, no. What was the kid's name? Micah? Nico? Does anybody remember that in the chat room?
by the way, what up, Andrew Smith? My clone.
Oh, yes, that's your clone from yeah, he probably saw, and we have a new Andrew Smith, and he was like, "We do?" No, not you. That's from the Family Gamers, Andrew Smith. Hey, how you
Nice.
doing there?
Generic names. Gotta love 'em.
Yeah, and the head of
Milo.
my company that furloughed a bunch of people is also named Andrew Smith. So it was very interesting getting a phone
Wait, the
call
name of
on
your
Zoom from
company?
Andrew Smith. My
It's a
co-
weird
it's-
name for a company.
No, the name of my boss at my company who
Oh,
furloughed a
okay.
bunch of people, and we had to get a Zoom call earlier this week on Friday, and it was like, "It's with Andrew Smith." I'm like, "Oh, that Andrew Smith." I
Yeah.
gotta know which Andrew Smith is calling when I get a phone call
Yeah.
and it says Andrew Smith. I'm like, which one is that going to be? It's always going to be, "Hello."
Yeah.
Yeah, Milo. That's what
Andrew
it
Smith
was.
says, right? Security through obscurity.
It's true. Like I keep my name to
Milo,
anyone.
that's what it was. Milo. Oh, Milo.
See, I don't remember that at all.
All kinds of. Oh, yeah. That was the moment where it's like, this is really
It was showing off
cool.
the Connect.
It was showing off the Kinect and showing off like this AI child. And it
No,
was
that
really
sounds
cool.
horrible.
And then somebody was like, "Hey, Yay! You get to have your very own 8-year-old boy.
Uh,
All right. So, shall we start the regular show, gentlemen?
Yeah.
I'm
All
fine. with
right.
that, yeah.
Let's do it.
What am I going to say? No. I'm going to leave now.
Yes.
Okay. This
yes.
is good.
You're,
This is
you're
good.
the
I'm happy.
irregular show. All right. Let me mute you both so that you don't talk over. And we are. Oh, I have to do the thing. So talk amongst yourselves. I have to put in the information.
Okay.
Gamehounds.
La-di-da-da. How's your weekend
Yeah.
going?
Pretty good. Pretty boring. Haven't
Well,
been
I mean,
doing
it's not
a
his
whole lot.
weekend.
Well,
Oh, okay.
It is still
Oh.
technically the weekend. I just, never have that to myself.
That's fine. My girlfriend's the same way. Her weekend is Monday and Tuesday. So it's
same.
always previously
Kind of.
it was. So it was always like offset in a fun, interesting way.
Everyone's always sad when I say, like, I don't have a weekend, but it's like, I don't have a social life. It's fine. Doesn't matter if my weekend's on Monday through Wednesday. It's all the same.
It just means
That's how
that
the show started. I mean, I never had weekends off for the first, I don't know, 2.5 years of working at JetBlue. And then I
it just
couldn't
means
have
that
weekends
you
off
have,
because
like-
I was doing the show on Wednesdays. Because that was the only day I could get off of my work. That's why Wednesdays became the show day for so long.
I feel it just means that you've got like the everything to yourself.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, if I ever need to go do something, it's not like, oh, man, I need to schedule a weekday and go do that. It's like, oh, no, I can get it done whenever.
Mhm.
And plus, no one's out and driving around, so
Yeah,
it's nice.
that helps.
Yep. All right, starting the show.
Video games, modern culture, and technology. And these podcasters are big fat potty mouths. If you're younger than 18 or are easily offended, please stop this podcast now. Oh, and your mom says to take out the trash and do your homework.
All right, mics are hot. Hello and welcome to GameHounds. GameHounds episode 547. We are recording this on May 31st, 2020. I'm Edie Sellers. With me is Nick DiNicola, as usual, but as unusual, we have our new third chair, Andrew Smith. Hey, Andrew, how you doing?
Doing pretty good. Happy to be here, and hopefully I'm here for a while.
I
Until
hope
Goalie
so.
comes and outs me again. Or, well, I mean, maybe not again, but yeah.
So, you might know him as Creation Chaos. We've talked about him. He's been in the chat room for years, but now you're officially part of the show, and super glad to have you. And no, Goalie is not gone forever. He may come back in at any time. His life is just kind of chaotic with the shutdown, and then we don't know how long it's going to be before he gets his business back up and rolling after the COVID it goes away. It's going to take a while for him to rebuild his business, so he needs to put a bunch of time into that. But if he has time and he has the energy, mostly he just doesn't have the energy, he's going to be coming in. So we may have 4 chairs on some days. So, in fact, I talked to him just a couple of days ago. He's doing good. He's doing okay.
Cool.
It's tough. It's tough being a small business owner right now. Right now, we're all stuck inside. Well, Andrew, you're not stuck inside because you're in
No.
Council Bluffs, Iowa.
Yes, if you ever need to go to the middle of nowhere, that's where I'm at.
Huh.
No, you're not the middle of nowhere. You're halfway to everywhere.
That's fair. And I am next to Omaha, which is technically a big city, but kind of big, moderately.
Whenever I think of
Big by those different standards.
whenever I think
Yes,
of Council
by
Bluffs,
Council Bluffs standards.
yeah, by
Yeah.
Council Bluffs, yeah. When I think of Council Bluffs, I think about that horrible bar that was on Bar Rescue. What was it called? Like O Face?
Yeah, the O-Face bar.
Oh,
That was great press. Also, not just that, but Farrah from Teen Mom. That's what we're known for, is the O-Face bar that broke the host for the first time.
That's right. He walked out. He didn't do it. He didn't rescue it. It's the only time he's ever completely walked out of a show,
Not just
of a rescue.
not just any teen mom, but the one that probably
Is the worst.
yeah.
The absolute worst.
Yeah, so Council Bluffs.
Okay. Nice.
Thank you,
nice
AC. Thank you.
AC Wraith actually has provided the link for Council Bluffs, Iowa, so you can see how it truly is the halfway to everywhere.
Also, we have a lot of black squirrels. So, you know what? That's good on us.
And everybody in the chat room
Hey.
is welcoming you. Eric Baker says, nice to see you on the show, Andrew. We got
Thank
Bitters in the chat room. We've got Andrew, the other Andrew Smith that I know in gaming.
Arguably
which,
the better one.
arguably very much the better one. Nothing personal. But this is
No,
Andrew
of
Smith
course.
of the Family Gamers, another podcast. Another great friend of mine, super awesome guy. And check that out. Hey, pimp your show. Give us a link so that I can put it on the screen of the Family Gamers.
I'm honestly surprised AC Wraith hasn't already done that. Like,
Yeah,
over the place.
yeah, dude, you have so dropped the ball.
I mean, technically, we didn't talk about it
Right.
until just now. So
that's fair. I didn't really give him enough time.
And we've got a new person in the chat room, Phrase Ravana 20. Welcome. Not
That
seen
is a
you
good
before.
friend of mine.
Oh, is it? All
That's
right.
Bishamon.
Oh, that's Bishamon. Hey, dude. So welcome.
No face for fun.
And there's the link for the Family Gamers. It is dubs.thefamilygamers.com. Don't forget the. www.thefamilygamers.com. Check them out. They do board games, video games, mostly board games, but they do all kinds of games, and it's all about not just gaming from our point of view, which is adult gaming, but also gaming for the family. And he has a whole passel of kids that he games with, his own. Yes, his own. But he's got 3 kids, I want to say, 3 or 4 kids. And yeah, they're really, really, really good show. Way better than the GameHounds. You really should stop listening to this show right now and just go listen to that one because they're way better than we are.
I'll bet he
Weird.
never left any of his kids in a hell dimension.
We were talking about Fable 3 before we started the show. Yeah, the kids in the hell dimension. Nick and I'll take full responsibility. I left Nick's and my love child from Fable 3 in the hell dimension, and we just calculated that our kid would be about 15 right now. And we were debating on whether to get him a car, but we'd get him a car except he's lost in the hell dimension. He walked away from me.
You let go of his hand.
I would have gone back and get him, but I couldn't get into the hell dimension, so he's back there somewhere. I don't know.
I don't think that's the problem. I think you taking him into a hell dimension in the beginning, like that was probably already.
Yeah, that's also first step. First step.
Corey Wallace says, we got to think of a nickname for Chaos, like Nick is the gray block. You know, that's the thing about nicknames. They happen organically. It'll come. Don't worry. We will have that moment where Nick and I gang up on Andrew, but not today, hopefully.
I can share what my nickname is with the rest of my friends in real life if you want.
No, do you want to? It's up to
It doesn't-
you.
it's
'Cause
actually-
it will
It's big
stick.
sexy. So
Big
maybe not.
sexy?
Yeah.
You will not be big sexy on this
No,
show.
that's fine. It started because a friend of mine, he's picking me up, and all the other friends were in the car, in the van, and he stopped, and he's going to say, "Hey there, sexy," or "Hey there, big fella," and it just mixed to "Hey there, big sexy," and it just stuck.
Was the kid named Connor?
No.
Oh no, no.
Oh,
Buffy.
it's a Buffy. Oh no. Well, we could have named. Did we name him? I don't even think we
I have
got
no
around
idea
to
what his
naming
name
him.
was.
We may not have even bothered to name him.
I think he was named. I
'Cause
think
we're-
you had to name him at birth. He probably had a name.
He probably right, but we're
He
terrible.
was probably named like
parents.
GameHound.
I did not name him GameHound.
Donation 3.
Yeah, the angel reference. Got it. So shall we get on with the show? What have y'all been playing?
I've been playing the same thing for a week.
Which is?
Final Fantasy XIV.
Yes.
Now that I know I am time limited with it, I want to try to get to a place that's good before my free time expires.
Mm-hmm.
Because
How
for the
far
most,
in?
I've killed like 4 primals at this point, 4 of the 6. So I feel like I'm making somewhat good progress.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I know, I guess the level cap for the main game is 50, and I'm at 39. So,
You were playing way more than I thought you were. You have like far and above
well,
beyond what I am.
I've been mainlining the story missions and like
Yeah.
just doing those story quests, and I only do side quests if I can get some done within the same area. And I've noticed they slow creeping, where at first when I did a bunch of side quests, I was way above the limit, the level limit for any sort of dungeon. As I've gone more and started doing less side quests, it slowly started creeping. Delta, that difference, is slowly started to get smaller, to the point the last dungeon I was at, I was only like 1 level above what it level synced me to. So I'm curious to see how far I can get before the game forces me to start grinding.
Grinding's not that bad. If you do dungeons, like you'll level up so quickly.
Yeah.
Also, are you doing your daily roulette?
No.
Okay,
I've
so
never done that.
Daily roulette is important because you get way more XP for a daily roulette. You like a fuck ton of XP for doing a daily roulette.
So here's the problem though. That means I gotta play the dungeons.
yeah, pretty much.
And
Yeah.
I don't want to
And
play the
it's-
dungeons.
And it's
I
a
don't think the
random one.
dungeons I don't think the dungeons are very good. Like
Uh.
they're interesting conceptually and story wise and all that, but just the act of playing them is never all that interesting because it's like 4 people blindfolded trying to get through a maze and just like, what do we do? Is this way? I got a key. Where do I put this key? Oh, I got the key here. Let's run forward. And it's just like that for 20 minutes. And then you fight a boss that's and then it's done. And then I'm intrigued by the story. Like I want to know where it goes. But more than that, I've just heard so many good things about the game, and I've heard so much praise about it that I want to get to a point where I can at least admit that it's good. Because right now it just feels so meh to me. And like I know someone, and I can really hear an echo coming through the things. I think that's you, Edie.
It's
I know
John.
someone in the chat the other week described it as any MMO as like the treadmill of progress, and there definitely is. Like that is addictive. That treadmill of progress of getting a quest, completing a quest, getting a quest, completing a quest, but there just isn't much behind it. I feel like.
I mean, it depends on if you enjoy that getting a quest, completing a quest. There is a little bit of a dopamine shot every time you do it. And every time, especially with the dungeons, I get a kind of a rather good dopamine shot every time I finish a dungeon. There's a couple of dungeons where I can't complete them because I'm a healer, and as you get farther and farther into the more advanced dungeons, it gets way more complicated. The fights have to get way more coordinated. And especially as a healer, it's like there's a couple of them that I have to, something happens in the middle of the boss fight and I have to cleanse everybody or else everybody dies before I heal them. And it's like, it's just, move, cleanse, move, cleanse, move, cleanse, move, cleanse, move, heal, move, heal. It's just, it becomes, and it's like one wrong keystroke and the party wipes. And it is stressful. It's gotten so stressful for that is that there's been times when I go into a certain dungeon and I just turn off my PS4 and simulate that my internet died, and then just leave the game for half an hour, because you can't leave a dungeon. You can't abandon a dungeon without you get a 30-minute timer to keep you out.
Oh,
So you can't do it again. So yeah, I just turn
all
off
dungeons or just that one?
all dungeons.
Okay.
If you're in the middle of a dungeon, the party, and you quit out of the dungeon, and it wasn't as an agreed upon thing for the party, then you are banned for 30 minutes from taking another dungeon.
That's cool.
Yeah. So that
Yeah.
essentially you don't do exactly what I did.
So what dungeon is that? Like, what is that one?
That is the Temple of Kar. I have to look this up. It is.
Okay, I don't know if I've hit that one.
And yeah,
Is it a?
Temple of Karn. Yeah. Sunken Temple of Karn. Qarn.
Where is it?
That
What level is it?
it is a level
45.
35 dungeon.
35?
35?
It's according to consolegameswiki.com. It's a level 35 dungeon.
Is it an optional one?
I don't think that one is.
That is.
If it's story based, then I would have to have done it.
No, it's no, I don't think. No, it's not story based. That is. I
So it's
believe
part of,
that
like, a
is
side quest.
Yeah, it has to do with the grand companies.
Is that the Sandpit one?
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, that one is. That's a side one.
yeah, and there's not the final boss, but the middle boss is a worm that throws out a debuff that if you don't cleanse it, it kills you. It's an instant death, and you have to cleanse it very quickly. First off, it's hard to know unless you're watching that intently. You don't see that flag come up very quickly, and once it comes up, you have to cleanse everybody very quickly and then heal everybody really quickly. And it is absolutely a one false move, one misplaced heal. You know, you hit the down on the D-pad one too many times or one too few times, and you don't do it like. And somebody dies, and everybody dies because one person. It's a tough fight for a healer. So yeah, there's no room for error on that one, and I tried to do it and couldn't, and eventually had to abandon it. And I've now set up my hotbar so that it's essentially a hotbar for that dungeon, so it's super easy and fast. But still, I don't trust myself not to fuck up. And so I get about halfway through, and then it's like the anxiety becomes so much in me that I'm like, I can't do it. You know, I have that Butters moment, and just turn off my PS4 and then walk away. It's like, I can't do it. I can't do it. This is too much.
Where do you go to
It's
get
Tweak.
that? Oh yeah, Tweak. Where do you go to get that one? Because
Ulda.
I want to.
Urda.
But how do I? Because I've been there. I've done a bunch of quests there.
Have you chosen your grand company? And the grand company is a part. Yeah, it is part of the story quest that you have to pick a grand company. And in order to, you don't have to get promoted for it, but they have equipment with the grand company that has amazing stats. And you get a different kind of currency that's called grand company scripts. And you get those by doing missions for the grand company that you can spend on equipment. But you also, as you get to a higher level, you have to get a promotion.
So you have to get a promotion within a grand company to
within
get
the grand
that
company
quest.
to get equipment that is at your level. So like if you're level 35, you have to, and you want to get anything higher than a level 26 gear, then you have to do grand company quests. And then at a certain point with that promotion, it's usually just handing in a bunch of scripts and getting a promotion. You hand in a bunch of scripts, you get a promotion. And then they get to a point where it's like, you can hand them all the scripts that you want. However, I can't give you the promotion unless you do this dungeon.
Okay.
Or it's essentially unless you complete a hunting log. The hunting log is full of beasts you have to kill that are only in that dungeon.
There's like a bounty board in the one that I that I went. But whenever I try to collect one of those bounties, the guy says like, no, we don't trust you yet. I'm like, I guess I have to get a promotion. But then the one time that when I first joined it, I looked to see if there were any missions available. They didn't actually have any missions available, like specifically Grand Company missions. So I've just been doing fates, which are like these pop-up quests throughout the game. And if you complete those, you get some Grand Company currency. And so that's kind of been my main method of earning that currency.
Yeah, that's one way to do it. But there's the quartermaster who provides the gear, but then there's also the guy right next to the quartermaster who gives the promotions. And if you start the promotions, eventually it's going to you have to complete the hunting log. Okay. And it's like you go up to the hunting log and you L1 over, and you will see there's an extra tab in the hunting log that is I don't know if you're the Eternal Flames. That's the Eternal Flames
I'm the Maelstrom.
Maelstrom. So there's the Maelstrom hunting log. And the Maelstrom hunting log, the first level is just like everything else, random mobs. And then the second level is all stuff that's in dungeons that you have to go to. And yeah, Temple of Karn, Sunken Temple of Karn is one of those dungeons. So I can't get any gear from mine is the Eternal Flames. I can't get any gear from the Eternal Flames that is at my level because I haven't completed the hunting
log.
log.
Whenever we're on again, I'll join you to do that because, like I said, I haven't had much trouble with the game.
I don't know that I can do it. It's not you. It's not people.
Game.
It's me. It's for that particular temple, that particular dungeon is very hard for healers because of that one fight where you have to cleanse everybody multiple times, all while still trying to keep the tank alive. And every second that you are not healing the tank he's getting closer and closer to death. But every moment that you're not cleansing somebody, that person is getting closer and closer to instant death.
So you start with cleansing the tank first, right? Or yourself, for that matter.
Right. Cleanse the tank, cleanse me, then cleanse the other two, then start healing.
I do not remember that fight well enough to give any tips right now, and I'm not quite at that level because I've been slacking.
You may all have to go in as a threesome and then pick up some poor fool.
I think there is a mechanic to stop the debuff, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it's the cleanse.
Is it just the cleanse?
Yeah, it's the cleanse. It's the only thing you can use to cleanse it out. Unless, I've actually watched videos on how to do it, and it still was and I just, I'm.
Well, Nick, you've on more of just general dungeon thing. Part of the fun is gaining that proficiency, that progress, as you go back into those dungeons, and that crazy hectic fight that you saw the first time becomes something simple and easy because you know all the steps. And
so that's one thing I've run into too, is that none of the fights have been that difficult. I've completed every dungeon on my first try, with whatever group that I put together. It's not, and I wonder if that's just the class. If being a damage dealer just dooms you to kind of a boring, predictable combo pattern over and over again.
It's a combination of that, and the low level dungeons are very, spank and tank. Or tank and spank.
You said low level that you're having trouble with the 35, and I'm almost 40 now. At what point?
You haven't gone into any level 40 dungeon. For example, Temple of Karn, there's a number of very, I don't want to say complex fights, but it has to do with pressure plates on the floor that you have to lure the bosses, whoever you're fighting, over to the pressure plates and kill them on the pressure plate, because it's like the door will only open if all the pressure plates have something on it. So you have to kill one, a whole bunch of mobs. You have to bring it over to the pressure plate and kill one of them there, then move everybody over to the next pressure plate, kill another one there, and then move everybody over to the next pressure plate and kill that one there, and then the door is open for everybody to walk through.
I've been waiting for something like that. I'm 40 levels into the game.
Because you
and
haven't
have
gone
not
into any dungeons. You've said you've avoided all the dungeons.
I've done literally every dungeon that the main story takes you on.
All right, we'll
Like, is the
we'll go to
main
Temple of Karn,
does-
and I
does-
will let you. We'll I'll do my
Does the
best not to
main
let you
story
die.
purposely hold back? Like, did they purposely
Yeah.
try to make the main story boring and easy as possible?
Not boring, but easy. Yeah. So the game. So there's like one dungeon every so often, like through the main story. So it's like you get the first 3 that are all one level apart, and then like 20, 25. I think it just continues like every 5 levels, and then you hit 50, and you unlock I think 8 dungeons at level 50, 8 to like 10,
Okay.
and those are all meant to be more challenging because that was the first level cap, and that's when mechanics started being more important. And for instance, there's a level 50 dungeon where you fight Diablos. He's like the god of dreams. And in that fight, you basically get taken to a dream realm. And at one point, he summons these doors, and you have to keep track and basically play a matching game while fighting him. And you have to have other people break off and go run and touch the doors and make sure you touch the right ones at the right time because he's doing like a giant AoE. And if you touch the door, it makes everyone warp into the door. It does his AoE, and you come back out. And there are other mechanics like that as you go on, and they just get more complex because you've done the what were they called again? The big god fights.
Primals?
Primals, yeah. So each of those primals has a hard version at level 50, and it adds
Okay.
like 2 or 3 more mechanics to that fight. So like you fought Garuda, right?
Yes. Which one was he? I know the name. I
female
know the name.
wind. The wind powered
fight
one.
No, I don't think I fought the wind. I just recently fought maybe I did do wind. I recently did a water guy.
Leviathan?
Yeah.
Were you on a boat?
No, I wasn't on a boat. Okay. Obviously Ifrit.
Yes.
God, I can't remember who
Fight
I
a rock
fought.
one?
I
Titan?
fought a rock one. Yes, the guy jumped
Okay.
up and landed on top of me at one point.
Okay, so we'll take Titan. You've done the normal version. You saw how like the rocks
Like here
fell
we
away
go.
as he
Here's
jumped.
here's a complex one out of Temple of Karn.
Yeah, little traps.
So yeah, it gets much more. This is, I would say, medium low complexity of
Yeah, it's like I'm
what that thing does.
looking at. Okay,
And
I'm
yeah,
looking at that and
and,
thinking like, okay, that looks cool. I would have liked to do something like that at level 10, instead of like, why hold back something like that to level 35? It just feels like the
MMOs
game is purposely holding back anything interesting, and so it's.
They're MMOs are kind of, they're not to be taken as one of like, I don't want to say normal game, but like they're meant to be accessible.
Wait.
So
Oh.
you
I was gonna
want,
say they're meant to waste your time, but I guess that's true.
that's
too.
any game though.
No.
What did you gain other than satisfaction from finishing Final Fantasy VII?
A lot of enjoyment, but it didn't waste my time.
Well, I mean,
Like, I
just 'cause
felt
you're
like-
not getting enjoyment out of this doesn't mean other people
I felt like the story progressed at a good clip. Whereas in this one, and I guess in this one's defense, is it actually had a narrative reason for this. But like one point before I fought Titan, to prepare to fight Titan, I had to go to various people and ask them, "Hey, how did you defeat Titan initially?"
Oh,
So
yes.
I went to one guy, did a series of quests for him. He gave me the information. Went to another guy, did a series of quests, got some information. Went to a third guy. He's like, gave me a series of quests. He's like, oh, you did all this stuff. That's cool. You're worth it. Let's celebrate. Can you go get some wine for me? So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go get some wine.
You are an
I go to the wine guy, and the wine guy's like, oh yeah, you want some wine to celebrate? Okay, can you do a series of quests for me? I'm like, oh, okay, this the second level deep. So he sends me, I go out to this forest area and meet a guy in a hut, and the guy in the hut is like, oh, hey, do some quests for me. And it's like this quest inception where I'm like 3 levels deep of, I just want to get this information, but I need to get the wine, and then I'll get the wine, I have to talk to this hut guy, and the hut guy wants me to do this other stuff. And so it's just like, this
classic
human
MMO.
centipede-esque stretch of quests, and I'm like, what the fuck does any of this have to? I just want some god. This, and then finally I get back, and I get the wine. It's like, oh yes, they were all in on it, and they were all testing you, and I'm like, oh shit. It's just, and
It's worse when there is a narrative
another
reason
time,
for it, right?
time it's so frustrating where like I had to meet this force nymph, like this sylph, and I'm like, okay, I need to contact the sylph. So I'm gonna go to this bartender because he knows the sylph. So I talk to him. He's like, yeah, okay, I'll keep an eye on. I'll let you know. In the meantime, can you go do this shit for me? And I'm like, okay, fine. And I literally teleport all over the world, doing the quest for an hour. And he's just like, hey, you have any information about that sylph yet? Nope. Can you go do this other quest for me? Oh my god.
I will
Give me
give you
the
that one.
information, you motherfuckers.
We have
And
to
like
understand.
it's less frustrating now, and I just kind of find it like funny because I've gotten into that pace of things, and so I've gotten into a pace of, there's a lot of text dialogue that I just skip over if it doesn't feel relevant, because I know that it isn't relevant. But I just wish more of it was relevant.
So we have talked a lot about Final Fantasy. Is there any other games we want to talk about?
Yeah.
No.
Well,
Okay, yeah, you go. I haven't played anything else. I've paused. I've paused Final Fantasy 15 in order to try to get through as much of 14 as I can before my time expires.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah. Don't worry. We'll me and Edie will pull our money together to work up $12, $13.
14.
That's for the standard. If you just got the basic edition.
My one fear is that I will get so far in the main quest now before my time is up that by the time they release that patch that improves the main quest line, I'll have already beaten it. And I'm like,
yeah, probably.
Shit.
Okay, so that's a good point. The early game from 1 to 50, that was meant to hold people off for years. Hence all of the running around. That is a lot of bloat to a game that now has a lot of extra content that you can do. But once upon a time, that was just the content.
And so part of it is like, okay, I guess the expansion's where the good stuff is. Let me just get through this stuff. So, yeah.
And a lot of it is, it is straight up tutorial till about level 50. Because the end game is where most MMOs take off. And that's
I
where
will say
it's
a very good podcast game. I've definitely gotten through my backlog of podcasts while playing it. So
yeah,
that's good.
Oh, that is such a raving endorsement. Oh, it's a great show to listen to podcasts to. Or a great game to listen to a podcast to.
Yeah, well, because most of the time, you're not.
Oh, it is a
listening
great game to do your dishes by.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's not wrong. It is a time-honored tradition to put something on in the background of an MMO. A lot of it is mind-numbing stuff that you just have to do.
Yeah.
For the sake of progression.
So, for the sake of progression, what other games are we going to talk about today?
Right. So a new game that just came out called Minecraft Dungeon. I tried that last night.
I've heard that
real quick. It is essentially if you took Diablo 3 or an ARPG over the top view and you just put a Minecraft skin on it. It is Minecraft only in design and name. There is no crafting really. You don't break blocks or anything. Everything's just already made. I'm not sure if it's procedurally generated or not. But as you're going through, you pick up different weapons, and then you have artifacts, which are essentially special abilities. Everyone starts off the same, just kind of generic character. And you kind of make a build as you level up with the gear you get. And there is some fun to be had there. You can kind of make this quick attacking that does lightning, because each of your weapons has enchantments, and you get enchantment points when you level up. And I think it might be just when you level up, you get enchantment points. So you can kind of customize each weapon you get. And I think the enchantments are random per weapon. And you can have up to 3, but sometimes they only have 1 or 2. So there's a lot of probably going through and dealing with RNG and getting everything you want, and kind of
Yeah,
making
like,
the
oh,
character
I got a weapon, but it doesn't have the enchantment I want, so let's try
Yeah.
again.
And
That's weird that there's no crafting. It seems like
yeah,
Minecraft. It's literally in the name.
I think it's the people who own Minecraft wanted a new game, like, and this is what they came up with. Like some of the dungeons, one of the first dungeons you go to was like eerily similar to Diablo. Like I was just like, this is almost a rip, but having played it a little bit, that's not entirely true. And it is totally meant to just be this family fun game because you can just drop in, drop out with a new controller. Everyone can play.
I mean, yeah, family-friendly Diablo actually seems like that. There's a good pitch to that.
Overall, it was pretty fun. Like I enjoyed my time with it. I don't think it'd be something I'd get into. But if you have kids who are younger and you want a fun game to play with them and they know Minecraft, this would be a fantastic game to get.
Yeah, it looks very cool. And it's kind of
This
nice
is the
to have
transition
this Minecraft skin on it because it makes it more accessible to parents or easier to, like, if you said, "Oh, I want to play Diablo," parents might be saying, I don't know. But it's
Diablo's
like,
horribly
oh, it's
violent.
Minecraft Dungeons where, it's actually more interactive, where there's a little more fighting, but it's all the same Minecraft world where you're fighting spiders and sheep and zombies and skeletons, and yeah, it becomes a whole lot. It's like you said, the same mechanic, but in a very much more palatable package.
Yeah, and there is a surprisingly large amount of complexity to it. As you can see, he's messing with his enchantments, and he can only choose one of those three. And then equipment will have up to the 3 enchantments available. So there is a lot to do in the game once you keep playing. So you won't get bored if you're an adult. You could really like it, especially if you're into Minecraft yourself. And I think they struck a really nice balance with that.
It's kind of cool. All right, I might actually be interested in playing that. We might have to call Goalie and go, Goalie.
Oh,
Yeah.
Goldie might
This
love
is like
this.
a
Goalie would love this. It might make him hate Minecraft less.
because he loves Diablo.
Right, and that's what this is. It's Diablo.
Less Minecraft, more Diablo.
Yeah.
Then that's
Yeah, that's
Definitely.
exactly right.
All right. So what else are we trying to talk about?
Well, I have a few games to go over, I guess. So the next one, which is pretty short, is Tom Clancy's Tom Clancy games. Yes, Ghost Recon Breakpoint. I started playing that with my friend Jay, and I haven't gotten to. Go ahead.
Breakpoint's the first one. Wildlands was the most recent one.
Other way around. Breakpoint is actually a direct sequel to Wildlands.
Okay, so Wildlands was first. So this is one that just came out recently.
Yeah, and the one they're still working on.
Yeah, okay.
So there is the normal game, and then they added a hardcore mode. So the normal game, it ends up kind of being like Division, from my understanding. There's a gear score. People are harder to kill unless you have that gear score. I'm dumb. I got to it when the hardcore mode was out, and I tried that first. And what that does is it turns it into more of a normal, like, Wildlands game where you shoot them in the head, they die. They don't really have health bars or anything like that. I thought, you know what? I'm awesome. I'll be fine. I'm not. And I turned everything off. Again, I hadn't played this before, so I turned off the mini-map, the weapon ammo stuff. I turned it all off. I'm playing with a blank screen.
Just a blank UI. Oh.
And
I've always thought about doing that in a game, but then I've always thought, like, no, that stuff is really helpful.
Oh, no, it is. So
You don't appreciate it until you don't have it.
Also, in the base game, as you can see, he has 2 primary weapon slots. You can turn that to 1. And oh my god, is it rough. Again, I didn't know how to play, and I've turned it on to the hardest difficulty, the hardest settings, all of it. Just straight masochism. And it made it less fun until I got used to the game. and
Hmm.
even then, it is rough. We die constantly. Normally, if you choose like an assault character, which is supposed to be like the tank, the running gun, you get 1 extra health bar, and whenever I see a person and they see me, I die immediately. There is no back and forth for the most part. If you're back and forth firing, you have seriously fucked up. You will not
So
win.
does it are you susceptible to the same rules? Because you said when you changed it, um, it's like without the gear score, you hit them in the head and they die, and
Uh,
it's like that. Are you susceptible to those same rules?
you don't die if you get shot in the head, but you don't have a lot of like damage resistance, so it's just like a shooter. If you get shot 3 or 4 times, you're dead.
Okay.
Well, I mean, if they see you, everyone's going to be shooting at you, so you're
So
probably dead.
you basically made it a stealth game.
Yes, exactly. Not only that, but they have an injury system. So if you take damage, you lose health, and sometimes you can get injured. And if you go down to 1 health bar, you start to limp. And I mean, you can't move when you're limping. You're just slowly moving around. So if you enter that, you're dead. And since you get hit and you lose so much life so quickly, you almost immediately go into injured, and then you pull out a pistol. So that time of getting shot, it's so frustrating because you can't even fight back because you're putting away your primary and you're pulling out a pistol, and you're hoping you can get a few shots off before you die. I immediately found the perk that gets rid of injuries because just no, that is awful. And if you run out of health packs to fix those injuries, there is nothing you can do but limp. Like you were straight
That's
screwed.
Horrible. Oh
Yeah,
God,
see,
that's
there's-
brutal.
There's 2
can you
health
like
items.
can you fashion your own health items out of nature like Metal Gear Solid 3?
Actually, yeah, you can find crafting stuff, and you can
Nice.
have that ready. And it comes in 2 flavors of healing items. You get a quick injection syringe that'll quickly heal you up. However, you can't use that if you're injured. You have to use bandages, which are painfully slow, like 5-6 seconds. And you only get 5 of those, and if you run out, you either have to craft more or hope to God that no one sees you. So yeah, I'm playing it on this difficulty, and I'm getting used to it finally. I initially tried shotguns because I thought, I'm going to be assault. It's going to be so cool because everyone has special abilities, and the assault has like a DR, and then they can heal when they do damage. And no, if I'm shooting people with a shotgun, I have lost. I am learning
can't
this
do that.
game. It is stealth or nothing, or I have to choke point them and do my best. I'll move on here soon, but the one best instance I had in this game is me and my friend Jay were attacking this bunker because we needed to get intel into it, and it's inside of a mountain. And we went through it, the entire thing, but we forgot to collect the intel, and then we died, and we spawned back outside, and everything reset. So that sucked. But we did find out that there was a different hatch that if we just climbed up the mountain without being seen, we can sneak into the top. And that's what we did. Well, we left a bunch of snipers out there, and we got seen, so we couldn't go back up through that hatch. So we had to go through the bunker. And what we did was first of all, I was covering this like stairwell that went down, and he was getting the intel, and they were running up, and I was covering him. That was awesome. Because again, this is tough. If you get seen or you get shot, you're going to die very quickly. So you have to have an advantageous position to even start fighting. And then when we had to leave the bunker, he walked forward, and I walked with my back to him, so that if anyone ran up behind us, we would
Nice.
we'd be able to take him out. And that's what we did through the entire underground bunker, which was actually pretty large, and it worked. He was getting attacked from the front, and people were running behind us. And if I wasn't there looking, we would die immediately. And the entire time we're shooting out the lights to make it go dark and using night vision, and it was awesome. That's
That
the
sounds
one
really
highlight.
cool.
The rest has been frustrating. We fought the Terminator. Fought's not really the right word. We kind of ran from the Terminator. There's a whole quest line. You sneak in, and then it spawns you, and the Terminator's in front of you. This wouldn't be a problem in like the normal game where you have gear score and DR and all of that, because you won't die immediately. We die immediately. So we spawn in, we chuck grenades, we shoot at him, just to drop him to the ground. Because if you do enough damage, he'll stun for a second, and then he'll get back up. Well, we're in a compound that's getting attacked from all sides, and we have to work our way through enemies and the Terminator. And we spent a
Oh.
solid hour trying to get out of this kerfuffle, and every time we spawned in, he spawned in a step closer, to the point where he was spawning in on top of
Oh
us.
no!
And we were doing everything we could.
God.
He would shoot first, and then I would start shooting so that he could reload, and I'd still be shooting and like staggering him.
Oh,
then when I was
that's a good
reloading,
idea.
and we had to get this down, and then we had to move forward and hide so that when he got back up, he'd start fighting the ads who were trying to come kill us as well. Because murder robot is nothing and because of ghosts, it's really dumb. But he'd start fighting, and then we'd try to find a hole. We'd drop him. We'd leave, and now we had to fight our way out of the compound while he's getting up, following us again. It was a rough time.
Can you beat him, or do you just have to run from him?
In this point in the game, you have to run from him, because then you go and get a weapon that allows you to kill Terminators. But we didn't have that yet. And that's been my experience with it so far.
That sounds
rough
really
game.
cool. That sounds cool.
So we got Clayton Jackson in the chat room again. Thank goodness, Clayton. We missed you. But you have a new character to add to the GameHounds game.
Yes.
We haven't given him a symbol yet. We were talking about that he has not, he doesn't have a nickname, but it will come. Mark my word, he will get one.
See, all this stuff on the screen, the minimap actually shows you where enemies are, and it is a different world when you turn that off and you cannot see enemies and you cannot mark them like this.
Oh yeah. If you can't see that arrow above them,
yeah, you got nothing.
Huh.
You have to use your eyes and hope you don't run into somebody. Again, straight masochism. You don't have to play like that, but I'm dumb and I wanted to do it anyways.
yeah.
But yeah, that's been my experience with Breakpoint so far, and I still want to play more because I don't know when to stop.
That sounds cool. I approve of a good old masochistic game every now and then.
Not a fan.
Trust me, if you get into it, it's rough, and there is a learning curve that you would normally have time to work your way into that I did not.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, I think I had 2 more games. I don't remember one of them already. Clearly, I remember Warframe. Yeah, let's go into Warframe.
All right, let's
Edie
do
was
this.
ready.
This is the long one. Okay, so
All right, make your pitch.
did you like Warframe when you tried it? When you first tried it,
Yeah.
did you hate the game?
No, it was all right. It was good. I mean, I enjoyed it for a period of time and then hit kind of a wall when it came to platinum, and I was like, no.
And you said you don't really remember any of it, right?
I remember the sliding being really fun.
Oh, Edie, thank you. All right. So, hypothetically, if Warframe came out with a number 2, would you try that?
A number 2?
Like Warframe 2.
Oh,
Warframing.
possibly. Oh, I know where you're going. Okay, yes, I would probably try Warframe 2 for a minute.
Good. So, Warframe has changed so much from that initial concept that you played that it is essentially a sequel. You can see the bones that was 1, but it is so wildly and drastically different that it is essentially Warframe 2. You are no longer bound to the ground. You can basically fly, jump off walls unlimited, and all sorts of things have changed. They've added more weapons that drastically alter how you play. They've added 24 new frames since you last played. Several tile sets, because before when you played, there's probably 3 tile sets, and
Yeah, I think there was.
maybe 4 if you count the desert planet. There are now like 15 different tile sets. They've
That's
added more
a lot.
story quests, at least 3 or 4 new like mechanic systems on top of open world maps. It is number 2, and it is worth trying for that reason. You would have to relearn the game.
But it's Warframe.
It is so number 2 that they are reworking the very first tile set that they made the Corpus tile set, they're completely overhauling it. And the old one's just going to be gone from the game. How does it not get any more sequel than that?
Hey, if I can play 40 hours of Final Fantasy XIV, you can play
Oh,
some
my God.
hours of
Oh,
Warframe.
no fucking fair, Nick.
And same pitches apply. I still have the GameHounds dojo, which, Nick, by the way, you're the owner of. You
Yeah.
made that dojo. I just
Yes.
have the same privileges
We
you
still
do.
got.
so-
Do we still have the patch?
We do. And I showed
Yes.
Edie that the other day. It's on my cat. I was like, my cat's representing.
Haha, cool.
You can make a new ship, and I told you I was going to name it the SS Zoe. Speaking of ships, they've added a whole new mechanic of you can make a ship and you'll go fly out in space with your 4 closest friends, or 3. And they've integrated the Arcwing mechanics so that you can jump out of the ship mid-mission, fly into another ship, board it, take it over or destroy it, and then fly back to your ship. Or they'll have other people boarding your ship. And then while you're playing, you can end up taking out a capital ship or going to ruins and fighting. I haven't touched any of that yet.
What is this game?
This is Warframe.
Huh.
It has changed. Which, by the way, you haven't even touched Arcwing, but that's not... Don't worry about that. No one likes Arcwing. It's basically a mount.
God damn it! I'm gonna
Okay.
fucking play Warframe, aren't I?
Do I have access to the GameHound scribes? Can we mark today as a special day?
You know what? Given the amount of support that Warframe has in the chat room, I think that you've got an army of scribes in the chat room who are literally marking their calendar as we speak. And God damn it.
There's stuff, there are mechanics I'm not even telling you about because they are spoilery that I think are worth experiencing without those spoilers. As to the nature of the Warframes themselves. And it is so liked and well done that almost no one in the Warframe community will spoil it for you if you ask questions.
PC or PlayStation?
PlayStation.
Oh, now you started a war.
I know I did.
Oh, there we go. Oh, but he gets motion sickness easily.
Yeah.
I never liked Warframe. My fiance got me into it. The gameplay is still for me since I get motion sickness really easily. I don't get motion sickness really easily. That does not help me in this argument. Vice Ravana 20. I need your help, please. Please, anyone who's on my side. I need some arguments here because I have run out of steam.
Understand,
Both he and Nick presented. They appealed to the 2 things that can get to me: 1, sequels, and 2, guilt.
Guilt?
Damn right. I absolutely respond to that. I absolutely respond to the
For
you
what it's
owe
worth,
me.
I would download Warframe again because I remember enjoying it, and I did enjoy it. I'd be happy to get into it rather than, I would like to play a fun game.
And you do still need a Sherpa through it, but you have me, someone who spent near 2,000 hours playing it over the course of PC and console. And I can explain all the intricacies to you.
So why PC?
And the Chaos
Since
Classroom.
you played both PC and console, why console?
For me, that has the GameHounds clan, and I don't really pay my PC version anymore, so I'm so far behind on that one now. When I hopped back on PlayStation, I had to build up all the stuff I had on PC. I've surpassed it, and I don't want to go back and do that again. Plus, we need Nick to join us.
It's a pretty sad day when I appeal to the chat room to provide me a defense here, and the best one is not on your side. I have to. It's not for me, but it's a really good game. And the other person being Corey Wallace, who says ESO has vampire content coming out next week. That's the best argument you can come up with, Corey?
I'll have to see when that goes on sale. Next time that goes on sale, I'll pick that up just to compare and contrast with boring Final Fantasy.
All right.
Yes.
I also did mention,
One of
Edie,
us.
just to extra guilt you, just to add to the guilt.
Yeah.
Remember, God, I keep pointing. I want to point that way, but it's the vision is opposite. The camera's opposite.
Yeah.
Because of the current PS4 sale, Persona 5 was only $8, and I was picking that up.
Oh, but Persona 5 is an amazing game.
Yeah, it is. It is.
You're
fantastic.
going to freaking love that game. You're going to freaking love that game.
I never finished it.
I'm just adding to the guilt tripping.
There was one of the social links that I missed because there's a timer on it, and I pretty much just fell into depression and stopped playing. I'm so sad.
All right. So I will come back with a response next week. You've had a week to develop these arguments. I need a week to develop my counter arguments for you. I need to consult with my lawyer.
That's basically just no.
All right. So, any other game you got?
Oh no, my computer just shut off. There we go. Sorry. Am I forgetting one? I know we prepped this, and I thought there was one more.
Let's see. No, that was it.
Okay. I do play more games, but I was going to keep it short.
Yeah. Keep it short, because we are already in like an hour and change in.
Yeah.
So, shall we hit the news, gentlemen?
Good to go. Did you have a game you were playing?
Let's hit the news.
Okay.
Well, you've just been playing Final Fantasy, haven't you?
This is the GameHounds news. The news, views, and commentary of the week in gaming with Gamer Edie, Nick DiNicola, and Andrew Smith. And our first item is...
Would you like to go first?
Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, for a moment I thought that
No, I was just ignoring you.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a couple movie ones. The Sonic Hedgehog sequel. The Sonic the Hedgehog movie is getting a sequel.
Apparently, you see the first
did
one?
well enough. No, I didn't. I heard it was perfectly fine. I heard it was...
I'd probably watch it just for Jim Carrey, because I love Jim Carrey, so...
Was it any good?
He did seem well cast.
Was it any good, or was it just profitable? There's a difference.
It's fine. I've heard that it's fine. Like in the pantheon of video game movies, like it's definitely up there, which is a low bar, but it's still just like it's a good kids movie. Is basically the summary that I heard, which is like that's what it was to begin with.
Right.
Yeah, and it's surprising for a Sonic like movie, just because Sonic doesn't do well outside of the 2D platformer it's known for. Like,
although there's been like he's had a constant TV show like almost since the first games came out. So
that's fair. One of the ones that is out, it's like a 3D one. I've seen some clips of it and like the dialogue that goes on, and it is like I want to watch it mainly for those lines. Like some of it is surprisingly well done.
I remember there's an app called Pluto that's basically just like free TV and has a bunch of channels on it, niche channels, and one of them is like old cartoon channels. And I was watching it one day, and they had the old Sonic the Hedgehog cartoon that I remember because that was when Sonic ate a bunch of chili dogs, and that was like his thing, is he loved chili dogs. But I watched it thinking like, oh shit, this looks old. Like Sonic his head's kind of weirdly misshapen. The animation just like, wow, this looks so cheap. It's like, is this the one that I watched? It was much more elaborate in my head. Like it was much better animated. It was much smoother. Sonic.
Yeah, well, isn't that how it always is? You always remember it better than it was.
It is. It was just
what
one
was
of those
that?
weird moments
The
of
DuckTales
that
game that you went back to that was like, ooh, this is not as good
I
as
remember. I knew that wasn't going to hold up.
Okay.
And actually, in a lot of ways it didn't, but in a lot of ways it did. Like that game was surprisingly deep with mechanics, like an actual stock market that I didn't fucking understand as a kid. So I never got into it. It's not a good game, but it was definitely like more complicated than I thought it would be.
Miles Thompson asked, did they do the thing in the movie where they mimic a shot from the game for fan service?
I don't know. I haven't seen it.
First, Miles, thank you. He said hello to me earlier, and I never got the chance to say thank you for that. From my understanding, the only thing that's really related to the game is like the first 2 minutes where he's running around his world, and you kind of see like familiar land shapes and stuff as he's running, and then he goes into our world. But I think that's pretty much it.
Vice says, I'm just going to call you Vice because it's Vice Ravana. It's way too much to say. After they gave people PTSD with the original Sonic design and then rolled back, they really lowered the ABR, though.
The bar.
Oh, bar. I was like, ABR? What's that? Okay, yeah. Well, they lowered the bar. And EC Wraith says, yeah, Tubi as well, but Pluto and Zumo are live streams as opposed to on demand.
Zumo, I'll have to look at that.
Yeah, but he says Pluto is handy for people like me with no cable, has lots of free movies and channels. Zumo too. So, let's see. My first.
In other movie news,
Uh-huh.
this comes from Eli Roth, who is currently the director for the Borderlands movie, who said to Entertainment Weekly, I'm so lucky to have the amazing Cate Blanchett starring in Borderlands.
Really?
So apparently, Cate Blanchett will be in the Borderlands movie.
As Lilith.
Which makes sense. Like, that's a fitting role. It's just it's a surprising get for him and for that movie.
Yeah, that is kind of cool. And she would make a great Lilith. A great Lilith.
There's a surprisingly large number of like games to movies that are coming out, and I hope they're good.
Well,
most recent ones have been good. The Tomb Raider one was just good. It was a solid action movie.
yeah.
I think it's just what's that director's name?
Eli Roth
Ball?
or
No.
Uwe Ball.
Yes.
Yeah.
He ruined video game movies.
He really
like,
did.
Him solely.
Yeah. He picked up a bunch and then didn't made shit.
And then made horrible movies.
Yeah.
With the exception of the one movie that we all watched together on Netflix with the what was it? Vern
Postal.
Postal. Was it Postal?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Vern Troyer gets raped to death by 1,000 chimpanzees or something.
Yeah,
like that.
that's Postal.
Yeah.
Yep.
The first 15 minutes of Postal is pretty damn funny, I have to admit.
I also remember the best scene of that is like when like the good guy and bad guy get in a shootout, and you know it's the classic little diving behind things, shooting and everything like that, and then the camera pulls back and they're on like a kid's playground and all the kids are dead and both of them are like completely unharmed. It's like, okay, that's a good gag. That's a good sight gag.
Uwe Boll had a lot of good gags done very badly. All right. So my first item is that Sony has announced that they're going to have a event where they're going to be doing some PS5 reveals on June 4th at 1 p.m. Pacific time, 4 p.m. Eastern time. And it's going to be a presentation that's going to run, they say, over an hour and showcase new PS5 games and for the system and the first real gameplay from Sony's console that's coming up sometime at the end of the year. Specific details about what's going to be shared haven't been revealed, but CNET says they spoke with the boss of PlayStation, Jim Ryan, and Jim Ryan did reiterate that it is going to release this year in 2020. It's going to be challenging on a lot of levels of releasing a console. I'm wondering if the current state of the global economy may be altering their price. Because the economy that they introduced PlayStation to is a very different economy than what PlayStation will be released into by a lot. Also in a post on the PlayStation blog, Jim Ryan also said that the PS4 event is only part of a quote unquote series of PlayStation 5 events. So this is not the last one that we will see. So I don't anticipate them to spill all the beans. They may spill some more beans, but not all of them. They don't have any future dates. He didn't release any future dates for when other beans spillage may happen. But he said, quote, "Rest assured, after next week's showcase, we will still have much to share with you." In other words, it's a nice way of saying, rest assured, we're not telling you everything on June 4th.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's still before E3, so, and I can understand them wanting to stretch things out.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. Well, June 4th would have been E3's dates.
yeah,
I thought,
it's essentially
I thought
like
E3 was July.
June.
Oh, okay.
First week of June.
I
Yep.
just assumed that since E3 was canceled, that this is just essentially the presentation that they were going to do.
Right. And let me remind you with the ticker,
Yeah.
as you can see, we
all
have
June.
everything happening in early June. Well, not everything, but most things happening in early June. Starting right now, we have the Sony event on June 4th, then the PC Gaming Show, which is set for June 6th. EA Play Live, which is June 11th. Cyberpunk 2077 is also going to be having an announcement on June 11th. Ubisoft is doing their showcase on July 12th. And then Square Enix currently right now is by title only, no exact dates set for anything. They're not having a big Square Enix show. It's just they're doing releases game by game. So yeah, I mean, this is E3 season. Normally, in a normal world, everybody would be, pretty much everybody would be either already in Los Angeles or heading down to Los Angeles. Instead, Los Angeles right now is a dumpster fire of COVID. It is a cesspool of virus at the moment.
Depending on how well this goes, I'm thinking it might, like, people are already pulling out of E3. So if this goes well, they're just...
E3, but E3's been canceled. No, they pulled out completely. E3 was officially canceled, wasn't it, Nick?
Yeah.
This year.
Yeah.
But I think he means like in the future.
Yeah, future E3s. Like
future
if this
E3s,
goes well, they won't have to spend all that money, and they have more options when it's just digital.
E3 was on life support, or I should say E3 was in the ICU, maybe not on a ventilator, but not doing well. And then COVID came, and now it's officially on the ventilator and failing rapidly. I think if they have an E3 next year, it's going to be much, 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 much smaller. I would imagine they're probably not going to be doing the convention center, the LA Convention Center anymore. And it's going, coronavirus was the nail in the coffin for them. Just gonna say that right now. I will be surprised if E3 ever comes back. It may come back. They may try to bring it back as kind of a smaller, more organic event along the lines of, I don't know if you remember, but the 1 year that they moved away from the LA Convention Center and took it down to Santa Monica and held it in a airport bunker, which was actually kind of cool. I was there for that year, and it was actually kind of a really cool event. It felt way more intimate and felt way more vibrant as far as like actually putting your hands on things and talking to people and testing things out. But either they're going to bring back something small and intimate like that, or they're just going to get rid of it completely. And I think that they'll probably just get rid of it completely eventually. I think, if anything, this won't be the last year. Next year may be a small event, and then if that doesn't fly, E3's dead.
I think E3 moving away from like people, like what PAX is now, like just consumers and fans.
Right.
If it ever was that, and more into like a press show, I think is their undoing. Because back when that was in full swing, we didn't have stuff like Twitch or any of the streaming options we do now, and that is just cheaper and honestly more accessible to more people.
Yep.
And that just makes E3, unless it changes drastically, an old notion, like something that's not going to work.
Yeah. No. Can't. I'd like to say I feel bad about it, but I don't, because. Yeah, they absolutely, they didn't just hold us at arm's length as enthusiast press. They actively booted people out and made it so closed and so unhelpful and so unwelcoming to press. When you have to label press as enthusiast press and do it with a sneer, like, oh, there's press and then there's enthusiast press. That's exactly how they treated us. And as much fun and as much as I enjoyed E3 and found a lot of value on it, back especially with Kentia Hall, because there were a lot of small stories that were not going to appeal to mainstream press, but would appeal to the enthusiast press. Once they decided that they were too good for us, got rid of Kentia, got rid of us, they were doomed because that can't sustain.
Yeah, and that's where,
CNN and BBC will not be covering stuff like they were. And it may have worked when they had big corporate gaming news sites like Joystick and Kotaku, but there's only so much that those can do. And even they are struggling. I mean, Joystick doesn't exist anymore. GameSpot is on life support.
GameSpot's doing well. GameSpot's owned by CBS.
Right, GameSpot's owned by CBS, but that's the thing is that if you have looked at GameSpot over the last 3 or 4 years, it used to be about games. GameSpot is now mostly about what's coming out on Netflix, the latest movies. It's essentially not gaming.
That's
99% movies and other media.
I mean,
Like
that's
pop
part
culture?
of the thing. Yeah, that's part of the thing game sites learned is that you can't be game only and survive. Like even
Right.
IGN for a much longer period of time has been, nerd culture.
Right.
That's what you need. You can't do games only.
And the
There's
thing
just
is
kinda
that
not enough
E3 is
there.
not nerd culture. E3 is it couldn't.
Yeah, it is.
It can't. It's E3 was not nerd culture. Well, years ago it was. It's not nerd culture. It was about gaming market, and it was exclusively that. Yeah, there were some people who would dress up and stuff, but it wasn't the nerd culture convention. PAX was a nerd culture convention.
Sure, but like any nerdy website would still want to
Every
cover
nerdy
E3 because it's about
website
games.
would
and that's,
cover it, but that's the thing. Nerdy websites that focus on gaming got kicked out. They didn't want nerd websites that focus on gaming. They wanted for
you're talking
gaming
about
press. They wanted
who's-
big corporate marketing or corporate gaming press, and then CNN, BBC, CBS,
You're talking about
NBC.
specifically who they allowed in.
Right, exactly. Who actually they allowed into it. Unless you paid the $300 for the weekend pass. And the only people that would pay for those would be companies. Well, first off, you wouldn't get media access to anything with one of those passes. Number one. Number two is the only people that bought those were people that went up to the counters and took all the swag so that they could put it on the internet and sell it. Sell it on eBay. That's the only people that ever pay for those.
And I think like PAX just being what it is kind of been a killing blow for them as well. Just kind of, like you were saying, it has embraced the smaller like developers, the
Right.
smaller
outlets. We have never had a problem getting a pass from PAX. And we are arguably one of the smaller podcasts you will find. Certainly one that has been around forever. But we are super small. And yet we have no issue and have never had any issue getting a PAX pass because we actually do our job. They want to know when we get a pass from them, they want to look and to see what we've done in the last year. And they want to see what our numbers are, but they've never quibbled with our numbers. Because when we go to PAX, we show our PAX coverage and we have literally dozens and dozens of interviews and we talk about it for years, for the entire rest of the year of the stuff that we'd seen there. So we actually do our job of covering PAX. We don't go there just to drink. Oh, we do drink, but that's most of the time after hours we get drunk.
And honestly, all PAX has to do is put together those kind of keynote speeches for like PlayStation or Xbox, and it would have more attendance and just be better received.
Right.
And
you don't really have PlayStation keynotes at PAX.
Yeah.
They're not
Although
about keynotes.
I imagine you could.
Oh,
Like,
you
Yeah,
could.
could do that.
if they just
Oh,
pick
yeah.
that
If
up,
they
I mean,
wanted.
it would be E3 plus like just everything better,
Mhm.
and E3 would be done. I think it is done for the most part.
Yeah, E3's done.
Speaking of the event, real quick,
Yeah?
that June 4th. From
Oh.
my understanding, like most of what we know that's going to be coming out on PS5 is all stuff that's going to be coming out on PS4 that's going to have a PS5 port. This should be revealing stuff that's just going to be PS5 exclusive.
Right.
And
Yeah,
they
and
have
this-
kind of a... Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say this is from what I read. This is just games. Like they're not showing off the hardware. They're not showing
Yeah.
the box. They're just gonna show games.
I think that they're going to show a combination of games, and they're probably going to release some hardware information. There's going to be some drops about the
I think they
actual
just.
console itself.
I think the blog only said games.
There has been apparently a little bit of backlash because PlayStation was saying that the PS5 exclusives, like, they're not going to worry about porting it back to the PS4 for most of their games. Like, it's just they're moving ahead.
Well,
Like, stuff that's on PS4 will come out for PS5, but there will be a large number of games that they're not going to be worrying about that for. It's just going to be PS5.
Right. In fact, yeah, that was something else I also brought that was related is that developers that Sony is going to require, if they haven't already, actually I think it looks like it's documentation from Sony's internal partner portal was located by Eurogamer, and they released the information in it. And one of the things that it says is that as of July 13th, any software submitted for certification for the PlayStation 4 must also run on PlayStation 5, as well as offer the same experience for each. So in other words, all game modes and options enabled on the PlayStation 4 must also be available for the PlayStation 5. Hi, Kevin. Must also be available for the PlayStation 5. So
that's
they're
only things
demanding
going
forward compatibility,
But
not
only-
backwards compatibility.
but only for PS4 games coming out essentially between July and the PS5.
Anything that's
not
been working.
Anything that's submitted for certification on July 13th or afterwards.
Yeah. So
if
that's not
they've
talking about
already
all
submitted or they're going to submit in the next month, they'll be okay. But after that, everything needs to be forward compatible.
Yeah. So yeah, basically that's So the PS4 games going forward will work on PS5, but any
Right.
PS4 game you have already is not necessarily guaranteed to work.
Right.
No, there's a bunch of...
The question is that's still an open question.
Right. Yes.
They're saying that they will have some backwards compatibility, like thousands of PS4 games, but that's not
They're
necessarily
saying
all of them.
that, and I would
Yeah.
like to know more because that's kind of the biggest thing that I'm concerned about. Because I have
the
a lot
fact
of
that they've been so silent
PS4
about it.
games.
If they were backwards compatible, you'd think that, that is kind of the big question there's two questions that are going to sell or not sell that console. One, price. Two, backwards compatibility. Now I get that they wouldn't really reveal the price because that's kind of like the holy grail of reveals. But if it's not backwards compatible, if it was backwards compatible, you'd think that they would make some news about that, especially since Xbox has already talked considerably about backwards compatibility. And that leads me to believe it's not going to be backwards compatible. Or it will be backwards compatible, air quotes, meaning there's something that isn't exactly making it backwards compatible.
They've said that the top 100 games will be, and they will test thousands, and they've gone into that, which makes it sound like it will be more like the what was it? The Xbox One X was compatible with 360 games, was kind of like a game by game basis.
Right.
Yeah, where they I imagine they were making emulators and then just porting the games towards it. Like, I imagine.
I also thought that was a lot harder to do for the 360 to the One. The architecture between PS4 and PS5 is, at least what we know, much more similar to each other, which would make that compatibility easier to create, but maybe not. Which
Miles Thompson
that's what I
agrees
want
that
to know.
LA is a cesspool. He goes, it is true.
Yeah.
It is a cesspool of virus right now. You couldn't pay me enough to go down to LA. It is
No, it's just in general. It's
a
just cesspool.
fucking mess right down there. Oh my god. But AC Wraith says E3 was only good fodder as developer digital anyway. Yeah, or sorry, Devolver Digital. Yeah, Devolver. Bless their hearts. They kept E3 real. Anybody else? Chaos. Jump in. It's your turn.
Okay. Yes, it is my turn. So quick note. Best Buy is having a pretty large deal on games. They forgot to mention this earlier, but so Borderlands, if you want to buy it right now, Borderlands 3, they have it available for 50% off or 60% off. So
wow.
It's $40 on their website, and now it's $15 for the standard edition. Deluxe edition's $50, and that's down to $20.
Wow.
So, really good deals if you want to get Borderlands. And they have a few more games like Division 2, the Gold Edition, which is $109, $102. That's down to $22. That's 80% off.
Oh my god,
So
that's a really good deal.
You want to get those games? I looked through the deals, and it's not a lot of games, but those are two of the major ones that if you want them, now's a good time to go ahead and buy them from Best Buy.
Right.
Yeah. The next one is CD Projekt Red. They had a profits call, or what's it called?
Earnings call.
Earnings call. And in it they talked, they didn't really get into Cyberpunk, but they did say that they're in the final stages of development and there should be no more delays. So September 16th is when it should release.
Good.
They're very confident about that. And interesting news, they have taken over as Europe's biggest gaming company, topping Ubisoft. Now, yeah, right? So this is surprising to me for a couple of reasons, so I ended up looking into them.
Yeah, what do they mean by
reason.
biggest?
There's a reason. Chaos kind of popped the cherry on this one for me. So I was astounded when I heard this, and you will be too.
Well, they made more profit than Ubisoft this year. They've topped them.
That's the metric. Okay,
yeah.
that makes more sense than saying biggest. Because saying biggest makes it sound like employee-wise.
Yeah, and I'm not sure exactly how that works. But so I went looking into CD Projekt Red because I just know them for the Witcher series. I was like, how did someone who just made Witcher beat out Ubisoft, who has Assassin's Creed, Rainbow Six Siege, all of that? And it turns out that they're responsible for making GOG games. The GOG,
GOG. Yeah, that's right.
They are solely responsible for making that a possibility.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
They've been partnering with AAA studios, so newer games are coming out on it now. And apparently every third pre-order for Cyberpunk is coming from GOG games, which is impressive. Internally, they call it CD Projekt Blue, which I just find funny. But GOG Games, which was initially considered dead in the water for them, is doing well. And I imagine that has helped because they have only developed Witcher titles before this. That is their only game they've ever made.
Yeah.
And
they are the Valve of Poland. They have
they
a
really
few small, really good titles, well received, and then they created this platform for other games to be sold, and now they're Valve.
Because I remember when GOG when GOG used to be Good Old Games, and it was specifically for older games that you kind of couldn't get anywhere else. But then they rebranded to GOG and started releasing newer things, and the platform is kind of it's really just steadily growing over time, like the kind of thing that you don't think about initially.
And
slow growth and organic growth is healthy growth, and that's why they're making so much money.
And it was kind of amazing because they did it as kind of a passion project. They wanted a DRM-free way to play old games, and that seems like that would be easy. But they had to track down defunct companies, find out who owned the licenses, and then work on those games to make them compatible on modern systems. And to me, that is amazing. That is just passion for what they're doing, and it has paid off. They are doing so well, and I think part of that is their image. They have done so well to prove that they're a good company, that they make quality products, and this is what that means.
Yeah,
they can beat out on profit a organization like Ubisoft, who has a ton of AAA titles that's making tons of games. That's amazing to me.
I also think part of that just has to do with the size, the employee count size, where Ubisoft has a lot more franchises, but they
Lot
also
more
have a lot more
studios.
head count.
Right.
You know, like they're. I wonder because you said like that they beat out Ubisoft for profits. I wonder if that's the same as like net revenue, because I can imagine Ubisoft bringing in more money overall, but less total profits just because they have a lot more
Overhead.
overhead that they have to pay for. Like they have to pay for all those games, whereas CD Projekt is like, yeah, we've kind of got this one franchise and this one game. Witcher 3 is still selling shockingly well even now.
Yeah.
And then we've also got this platform that's helping us out.
I'm looking into it real quick, just so
Yeah.
I know exactly what it is. It's okay. So it's what the company is worth, not its profits.
Oh, it's its value.
Yeah, so it's worth.
Oh, it's a more valuable company. That
Yes,
is actually a very large metric. That actually CD Projekt Red is a more valuable company than Ubisoft. That's astounding to me.
Yeah. And it's just by a little bit right now, but I mean, if they caught up with what they do have, they're going to just do well in the future, especially once Cyberpunk drops. When that game drops and it's as good as everyone thinks it's going to be, it'll skyrocket them even farther.
Oh,
We hope it's
they're
good.
not publicly traded, are they?
I don't think so.
Oh,
No.
shit.
That's probably for the best.
Yeah. I'm wondering how they're equating that, how they're coming to that amount of value. Because that's usually determined by one of two ways. Either you take the price of the stock and then you multiply it by the amount of stock, and that gives you the value of the company. Or you take a portion of the ownership, like say somebody has a 10% share of the company and they spend $100,000 on it, that means it's $1 million company. Because if you look at if 10% being valued at 100,000, 100% would be $1 million. So I'm wondering how they're coming to that analysis, to those numbers, because
I was wrong. It is public, by the way.
It is public. Holy shit.
Okay.
I know what I'm doing.
Just an interesting number, apparently, for the last
I know
10
what I'm
decades. Or 10 decades, my bad. The last decade, they've increased like 12,000% in their how much they were worth.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
That's an
They're
insane
probably,
number.
yeah, like a couple bucks, and now they're probably worth, $50 or $60. So, all right. Well, I know what I'm doing on Monday morning. I'm creating a whole new disclosure for the next show.
There's also the mention of their live stream that they're going to be doing called like Wild Party Night for Cyberpunk on the 11th, but you mentioned that. Like, that's going to be happening, and apparently it's going to be Cyberpunk reveal, which I'm looking forward to be honest.
Oh yeah, I think that it might break the internet with as many people that are going to be
I've been
jumping in
surprised.
on the internet on June 11th.
I've been surprised actually how much of that game they've showed off. Like they released that like E3 trailer they had, not trailer, like the behind the scenes thing they have a while ago. So they have. Okay, I feel like Cat's gonna go poop his diaper, but they've shown off like solid half-hour, 20-minute chunks of that game.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, it's not like it's a mystery, which is cool.
I know some of the mechanics might change, and I know like months ago they said they had pretty much the game entirely done, but they were spending a lot of time polishing it and making sure it is exactly what they wanted.
Which is good. That's
yeah. Like part of me wants to just get a PC so I can buy Cyberpunk and play it in like ultra settings and all its glory.
I've got a good TV. That's more than enough.
I'm looking up the stock price. Yeah, there we go. CD Projekt. Yeah, $100 a share. And I'm looking at the max line. Yeah, it looked like 10 years ago it was $16 a share, and now it's $98 a share.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
And I think other development companies like EA, Activision should take just what good press could do for your company. Like, clearly that needs to be a lesson relearned for gaming companies.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of EA, actually, I have a news story about them. They have re-upped their exclusivity deal with the NFL for another 5 years. So, yeah, another 5 years of Madden-only games.
So you
No more
guys are going to
footballs.
get one Madden game for 5 years. It's going to be reskinned every year, but you'll have that one.
Well, isn't that what they've been doing since, the beginning of time? They
Yeah.
just reskin it.
The fuck
Put in
is
some few new
this?
stats. What's going on, Nick? You okay there?
The cats. The
He's losing it, Edie.
diaper cat is wandering around, which makes me feel like he's gonna go poop a pee at any second, and I want to catch him before he does that, so that
Because
he
he's
doesn't
got a
do it
diaper on.
in the diaper.
Right.
Before now he was just sleeping.
Eh?
So, and then he knocked a toy over. That's all.
So, let's see. My next item is, what is my next item? Let's see. Most people will not give a shit about this, but it's still worth mentioning that if you are a fan of Killzone Mercenary, Killzone's Mercenary, bad news for you. The servers have been shut down. This was an old game. It was released back in 2013 for the
Killzone
Vita.
Mercenaries?
It was a game created for the Vita back in 2013.
It's a Killzone Vita game.
Right.
Oh yeah, the Vita was the thing.
But it was ported over to the PlayStation for console. And it had a really deep competitive mode with its single player campaign, much like most first person shooters. But the multiplayer mode, it's like without notification, without any alert. Anybody who was playing the multiplayer mode, they signed in and they were getting an error message. And the comicbook.com was told by PlayStation support the servers have been shut down. They're not sure if it's a permanent shutdown or if they could return. They don't know, but they were very unceremoniously and completely unannounced. The servers were just kind of dead.
That's unfortunate. That seems, even if it's not a big player base, like you want to give people some notice.
Yeah. So yeah, that was a game that was created by a studio called
Thank
Guerrilla
you, Jacob.
Cambridge. What?
In the
Jacob.
chat.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not looking at chat. I'm doing the banners. What did Jacob say? No.
No, you got to make it plural. I got two.
Grow up. So yeah, if you were a big fan of Killzone Mercenary, your multiplayer is gone. We don't know for how long or why, but it is very surprisingly disappeared with no announcement.
All right.
Anybody else got anything? I got a couple more.
Okay, I've got one I'm happy about. In an interview with Live Door News, Hideo Kojima was talking about Death Stranding and said that sales-wise, it has surpassed what they need to make a profit. So it's sold well enough that they have secured enough. They have secured enough profit to prepare for what's next. I guess he did have another project going on, but it kind of fell through. So they're looking at just what's next. But hey, the fact that game was successful, I am happy about, because that was a very weird, surprisingly niche AAA game.
Yeah.
And I know he was pretty pissed that his other project got closed down. He's just like, it pissed me off, but that's the gaming industry for you.
Come on, chat room.
Part of that
Go
is the
chat
gaming
room.
industry.
We gotta get the GameHounds battle cry. Somebody in the chat room's got to be the first one to say it.
Well, it wasn't Konami that canceled this other thing. It's just a project that fell through.
No, but it is the GameHounds battle cry and has been for a while. Actually, it's the gamer battle cry since Metal Gear 5.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for someone to say it so I can put it up there because I'm not going to say it. Somebody asks, "Is that a purge mask on my wall?" No, that is not a purge mask. That's actually a plate that was given to me as a wedding present from my mother-in-law. There we go. There it is. Thank you, C. Jackson the second. Good for you. There we are. There's another one. AC Ray. Thank you. Jacob Andrew says my house looks haunted. It is haunted. It's 120-year-old house. It's definitely haunted.
Cool.
Anybody else want to join in on the fuck Konami train? Feel free. I will be posting every single one of those. So next item.
Right. So this isn't necessarily like crazy news, but I found it interesting. So I haven't been keeping up with Fortnite. Have either of you?
No.
Vaguely.
So obviously you've probably heard about like Avengers tie-ins, Star Wars tie-ins, stuff like that. I didn't realize how, like, what that game was becoming and where it's at. And as an advertising platform, I think it is a unique gaming existence. Like,
I know one of the guys from Giant Bomb recently called it like the McDonald's of games, because you just kind of anything can go on there, which seemed appropriate.
Last week, there's a new Christopher Nolan movie coming out called Tenet, and I didn't hear about it, but apparently they're in Fortnite. They've added a new map area called Party Royale, and it's where it's a non-hostile area that everyone could just go and kind of screw around in. And they had a like theater screen up that had never been used. Well, they started playing trailers on it, and the first trailer that they've played is Christopher Nolan's Tenet, and they were just playing it every hour. So if you were just there, you can see it, and that good.
And it was a new trailer for the movie. Like, it's not just they're playing the trailer; it's that like this is the second trailer for the movie. So yeah, the trailer debuted in Fortnite on this fake big movie theater.
And I looked into it, and I didn't realize this had happened when the Party Royale came out. Apparently, they had live music events on. That's me, I think. No, sorry about the car.
No. Somebody's asking about a pussy pillow. No, that's a dog bed.
They had live music events by Diplo.
I remember
it's a
that.
DJ, and
I
then
remember
Deadmau5.
There was that concert.
Yep.
For what's his name?
Yeah, I remember
the big like 70-foot tall giant that walked around and did a concert.
Right. What was his name? I'll look it up.
I forget that, but yeah, they've done a couple things like that. It wasn't Deadmau5. No, it was an actual singer. He had an actual name.
Travis Scott.
Yes, that was
okay. And I don't think there's ever been a gaming experience like Fortnite. Like, it is truly bizarre and unique. And I just thought that was worth mentioning.
I remember back in the 360 when EA was making a big deal about the billboards in their games, like Need for Speed, and how the billboards could be updated with new ads for newer movies. And that was kind of like one of their big, in-game advertising tie-ins and products of like, oh, look, we can update the billboards. And now you've got this, which is kind of sort of the next evolution of that.
Yeah, like, insane. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I like that. I also think it's funny. Other people have mentioned this too, that like Christopher Nolan is a very big theater guy. Like, he likes movie theaters, and he makes a lot of IMAX friendly stuff. So the idea that he would premiere a trailer that can't play in theaters because they're all closed, instead of just releasing it on YouTube, he instead releases it into a fake movie theater. So he's still releasing into a theater. It's just a fake theater, which just kind of seemed funny given his well-known love of theaters.
Take that clip Edie just put up there for a second. That, like, when I first heard of Fortnite, I played the Save the World version, the like free-to-play type of game that it was initially supposed to be. And it was fun, but it was flawed because once you reached a certain point, you transferred worlds, and then like you had to start all over again. And the
No.
farther you went, like it became super grindy to the point where if you don't spend money, you weren't making progress.
Ah.
So it was rough. And then this came out, and I tried it. I played a handful of games, and I never picked it up again because I was just not into Fortnite.
Yeah, I
And
remember
to see-
doing the same thing of just like, oh, this Battle Royale, this PUBG ripoff is really popular. I'll download that, play it for a bit, and I was like, yeah, it's okay.
And to see it go from what that was to a giant singer in the sky, like concert-esque thing, is almost surreal. Like,
Yeah.
So here's the Tenet trailer in Killzone. I'm sorry, in Fortnite.
Fortnite.
So yeah.
Huh. Did they have the actor introducing it? Yeah, they did.
Yep, they had the actors. Was that Jeff Keighley that I saw?
I don't know.
Oh, yeah. So yeah, here's the trailer, big screen, and just plays while you're.
That
yeah,
sounds cool. Is that
somebody
like
in the
ultra
chat room.
widescreen?
Somebody in the chat room said that AC Wraith said it's like Second Life but more mainstream. Yeah, or what was the name of that PlayStation thing? Was it PlayStation Life?
Oh, Home?
Home.
PlayStation Home.
PlayStation Home, but with
Shit,
more,
I haven't
more
thought
shooty
about
shooty.
Home. You know what's funny about this video?
What?
There are layers of advertising at work here. They're watching a trailer for Tenet, but they're doing so with an avatar of Rey from Star Wars.
yeah, like,
Which just shows you the advertising for other things is they're literally on top of each other.
Yeah. They're very much the McDonald's of gaming right now. I have to agree with that one. So yeah, that's what's going on inside Fortnite.
is it bad that I'm into that movie already? Like just watching the trailer, seeing like
Oh
the
hell
time
no!
powers.
I've wanted to see that movie even before I knew what it was called. I'm a big fan of Christopher Nolan.
AC Ray
So.
said Second Life even had major trolls who would no Siri stop. Second Life even had major trolls who would throw sex toys around during events, and it could be used as a form of protest.
I remember
Nice.
when that happened. I remember when someone was giving a speech and like a whole bunch of dildos literally flew all over the place.
Oh man.
All right, my next item is let's see, the two. Oh man, I just gotta. Sorry, I've got to make my screen smaller because I'm having a hard time getting stuff around. I wanted to see like everything in big screen, and it was just not working. Let's see. We already talked about Division 2. Did we talk about this already?
No, we talked about the sale. That's the only time it's mentioned.
Yeah. All right. So right along with that, there was a leak of spoilers that were been talked about. Let me get this off here. Stand by. I have to got way too much stuff here. There was a leak earlier this week that about some possible future storylines for Division 2 that had to do with future DLC and upcoming manhunts, which are essentially like bounties that kind of further the story that were due out for the next several times that they would be releasing these, I guess seasons 2 through 4. And they were apparently discovered, according to the original leaker, because there were audio files left over on the public test server that someone was able to find and listen to and realize, oh, hey, this is a manhunt that we haven't done. Are these the future manhunts? Well, Ubisoft did confirm this week that yes, those story leaks are absolutely true. So if you are someone that wants spoilers about what's coming up in seasons 2 through 4 of these missions, then go ahead and listen to them. And if you do not want spoilers, don't listen to them. I could have provided more information, but I don't want to know the spoilers. So I have not. So this is going to be spoiler free. But these were posted on Reddit by a user named Definitely Anal T16. Either that or it's Analt 16, but I'm going with Anal T. But they were later confirmed in part by Chris Gansler of the Ubisoft team, chiming in on the thread and acknowledging that the leak post did contain spoilers. So if you're looking for spoilers, they're out there. And,
Anal T sounds like somebody who would spoil stuff.
anal bum covers.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know if you've ever heard the story about some of the worst, biggest marketing mistakes ever, but one of them, and this is totally unrelated to anything, one of them was, remember Susan Boyle? Is it Susan Boyle or Susan Doyle?
Yeah, Susan Boyle.
Yeah.
Susan
the
Boyle.
British
Okay.
singer show.
Right. Very, she was like Britain's Got Talent. She was like this older, middle-aged housewife, frumpy-looking woman with a voice of an angel, and blew up and became huge. A huge following, kind of like the middle-aged Celine Dion now. Well, she was releasing her second album, and her social media marketing team decided to create a hashtag for like her big, when she was going to be doing this big social media reveal of her new album, and they created a hashtag that they wanted everybody to use that was Susan album cover or Susan album party. So, but if you put Susan album party together as a hashtag, it looks like Sue's anal bum party. Which, of course, went completely viral, but for exactly the wrong reason. Damage was done. They changed the hashtag to something else that couldn't be anal bum party.
It will forever be anal bum party.
Right. Sue's anal bum party. And it didn't go away. So yeah. Real life moment of look at your hashtags before you actually approve them. All right. Anybody got a next item?
Yeah, I got one. The 2019 Nebula Awards, which are just put on by the Science Fiction Fantasy Writers of America?
Did you win?
That organization. Yes, I did. No, but I will take some issue with them. The Outer Worlds won for game writing. They specifically have like novel, novella, novelette, short story, young adult, movies, and games. So they specifically have a game category. And the nominees were something called Fate Accessibility Toolkit, which I don't know, but Disco Elysium, The Magician's Workshop, The Outer Worlds, and Outer Wilds. And The Outer Worlds won. So congrats to them, but The Outer Wilds was better.
In writing or in gameplay? Those are two different things.
Both.
Really?
Outer Worlds is the one by Obsidian, right?
Yes, Outer Worlds is the Fallout S game, and Outer Wilds is the like Explore the Solar System game. Outer Wilds is so much better.
It may have been that they were confused, because I mean, I'm still freaking confused by it.
I hope someone's paying attention for that.
I am.
So, anybody else got anything?
Actually, you brought up a fun point. I actually do have another short story coming out in an anthology called Scary Snippets Family Edition. It's basically a collection of like 2 to 3 page horror stories relating to family, basically coming out in between Father's Day and Mother's Day. I don't think it's out now. I'm trying to see when it actually does come out.
I got to go for a minute, but in case I miss you, I did send you an email. Oh, Miles, thank you. I'm so sorry about that. Yes, I will check my email. I have not checked my email this week.
June 2nd.
Okay, so June 2nd, Scary Snippets Family Edition, and where
Yes.
can they find that?
You can get it on Amazon. You can
Okay.
pre-order it now for only $3, which you get like 50 short stories in it for only $3. So that worthwhile deal.
And there's a Kindle edition, which I will be buying.
Yeah, and I've read a few because I got like the early version, and it's like some of these are pretty good. It actually reminded me, because they're so short, of like the old scary stories to tell in the dark novels, the books for kids. Well, for kids that had
Bump
the
in the
really
Night
horrible.
books?
No, the scary stories to tell in the dark. The really short, but they had the fucking
yes.
awful nightmare drawings.
Yeah.
Those stories was like you just kind of read it in like 2 pages, and you're like, oh, that was spooky, and then you move on. And it's like, oh, it's nice to get a little spooky story in a tiny page that you can read on the toilet. It's like,
Okay, good to know.
yeah. It's just
Great.
I don't know. As I was reading through a bunch of stories, I was like, it just kind of feels good to read something and finish 2 minutes later, because otherwise I have a collection of like books and ebooks that I've got on sale. That's like, oh, this is 500 pages, or this is 400, this is 300, this is 600. Jesus Christ.
Well, everyone, you need to go buy that like right now. You'll be better off for it.
Yes, everyone should go buy it. Go buy it right now. It is a pre-order. Comes out June 2nd. So.
Scary Snippets Family Edition, excellent toilet reading, says author.
Hey, I still
disagree?
remember when I sat on a toilet to play Fairway Solitaire Golf
You
at
did.
PAX.
Oh, that's right. That's right. They made you sit on a toilet in order to play it. That's right.
Because
That's
they were like,
fantastic.
they said specifically, we know this is where most people will play our game.
All right. So, it's pre-order right now on Amazon. So check it out. All right. My next item is there is a big ass sale going on right now. A sale that is, this is what happens when I pre-write in all of my shit. A double discount sale on PlayStation 4. This is going on until June 10th. Some freaking incredible deals. And the double discount means that if you are a PlayStation Plus member, you get a double discount. So there is a sale price and there is the double discount sales price for PlayStation Plus members. For example, the Assassin's Creed Origins Gold Edition, which is normally $100, is discounted to $60, or for PlayStation Plus, $20.
Yeah, that's where I picked up Persona 5, because it's on sale for like $13, and then with PS Plus it goes down to $8.
Yep. Assassin's Creed Triple Pack is normally $90, on sale for $55.79, or if you're PlayStation Plus, $21.59.
That's a huge deal.
Huge deal.
Which 3 games are in that one? The
can
trilogy?
You look it up, Chaos? The Assassin's Creed Triple Pack? Let's see. Here we go. Here's a link for all of the deals. The Lego Marvel Collection, normally $60, $37.19 on sale, $15 for PlayStation Plus.
The triple pack is Black Flag, Unity, and Syndicate.
That's good. You get 2 very good games out of that pack. And a lot of people, disagree with me about which one's the bad one. At that price, that's worth it just for Black Flag.
Ghost Recon Wildlands Year 2 Ultimate Edition, normally $120, on sale for $78 or $36 with PlayStation Plus. That's a
insane.
screaming deal. So yeah, and it's not all just high priced stuff. There's a lot of smaller priced things, but of course, the smaller the starting price, and the smaller the discount, the smaller the double discount. But still, some pretty darn good deals. Like Conan Exiles, normally $50, on sale for $35, or PlayStation Plus $20. Still a
Yeah,
pretty
didn't
good
you
gotcha.
You played a lot of that.
Yes, I did. I played a lot of that with Chaos and Jay.
Yeah, that was an interesting game.
I had a lot of tamed crocodiles guarding my hut.
That actually sounds fun.
Yeah. We
I've-
did a really good job. I mean, every time I would come in, I would leave them to it. I'd come in and everything would be drastically changed. It's like, why is there a second level on my hut now?
Jay would just change stuff willy nilly, and like he'd play so long, you'd come back and you're like, "This isn't my base anymore. Where's my stuff?" Sometimes you're just straight up moved. You wake up in a different spot. Conan was a lot of fun.
Yeah, but it's if you're looking to save some deals, save some money on some really freaking good games, especially super expensive gold packs or multi-game editions, this is your jam right now. So hit it until June 10th.
So COVID and we're quarantined for another 6 months. You'll have a lot of stuff to play.
Oh, and one other thing, we did mention the Minecraft dungeons. There was some news. Where did I put it? I know I put. Did I not mention? I guess I didn't create a banner for it. But Minecraft dungeons are going to be able to have their first batch of DLC in July, when Jungle Awakens it releases. So look for an expansion on Minecraft Dungeons coming up next month. But in addition, later this year, there's going to be the Creeping Winter. The details on when that's going to come out is not provided, but it's later sometime this year. And then if you own the Hero Edition of that game, you will automatically receive DLC upon release. And on top of that, there is also going to be a free update for everyone coming sometime in the future that is going to include cross-platform play for Minecraft Dungeons, which makes it all the more interesting. I would love to do some cross-platform play for essentially a different skin of Diablo.
More cross-platform, the better. Kind of regardless of where
There's a lot
what
of
game
games.
it is. Yeah.
Yep.
But I'd like to see
Absolutely.
more cross-platform.
Oh,
Actually,
there it
I've
is.
wanted to ask
I know.
you. Are you? Yes. Okay. There. You, Andrew. You're playing Final Fantasy 15 on PC or PlayStation?
No. 14 or
14. The MMO.
yeah, on PlayStation. Yeah.
Okay, because I remember we were in a dungeon and you were ow, Jesus, and you were chatting with one of our pickup people, and you put a message in really fast, and I was
'Cause
like,
he has
"Oh, I
his-
wonder if this has."
I put in a
he-
keyboard.
Yeah, you plug in
okay,
a keyboard.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, when I
Yeah.
was playing the shit out of it before, I also plugged in a keyboard because it was just
Okay.
impossible to communicate through the.
Yeah, exactly.
Controller.
Like I can't imagine trying to type out a message there. Okay, that makes
Yep.
more sense.
Yep, yep,
Yeah,
yep,
no,
yep,
you
yep.
get just like a wireless keyboard or something, and then later on, what I do is you can make a new UI for like a keyboard hotbar that you can just put up at the top for stuff that like
Interesting.
you're just gonna press once and leave there, like with tank or stuff, or buffs that you just need to press once, so you can clear up some of your cross hotbar, so you don't have everything on that, which I typically do.
Cool.
Yeah, the cats.
Okay.
The cats are definitely having fun. Eric Baker
yeah,
says
this
the
is the
cats
playtime.
appear to be having fun.
Before we were there, they were asleep in the morning. This is their playtime. So the new podcast is like cat playtime central. So
That's
this is
alright.
going to be the new normal of them
That's fine.
jumping around and clawing into my arm.
Listen, YouTube and cats to go together like freaking YouTube and cats.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We are
I'm
the
fine
Game
with
Cats.
it.
Yeah.
Podcast now?
I'll have to try to.
Yep. Just see a pair of ears sticking out. All right. Any other items before for anybody? Because we are hitting 2 hours on this show.
I'm allowed.
Yeah, I just had the small one for Xbox about their backwards compatibility.
Mm-hmm.
They've said that any game that is backwards compatible will support the pause and resume feature.
Oh, okay, so like if you can just pause it on your console and go pick up on PC or vice versa.
No,
So-
the suspend. So like,
Oh,
um,
okay, gotcha.
yeah, backwards compatible games will be able to be paused and suspended. Put the console in sleep mode, and then when you bring it back up, it can work. And they say that the Xbox Series X will be able to do that for 3 games at a time. So that means you can have 3 backwards compatible games. Well, 3 games in general, including any backwards compatible games, which is just nice that one of the big features of the new console will still work for these backwards compatible games.
Hmm.
Because apparently, like we see with PlayStation, that's not always guaranteed.
Yeah, their lack of information for backwards compatibility is slightly concerning at this point. It's one thing before, but if we don't hear anything very firm by July or August, then I am going to call it they are not backwards compatible. They're just trying to figure out a way not to talk about backwards compatibility.
On June
Decisions
4th,
are going to be made.
feels like on June 4th they have to say something about it.
By June 4th, they absolutely
said
have to say something about it.
That thing is just showing off games. They're not talking about
They
the console.
did. And here's the thing is that this normally E3 is when they reveal prices. We are in pricing season right now for these consoles, typically. Now, the fact that E3 is not happening does not necessarily mean that it's not the time to tell us how much it's going to cost us, because we have to prepare for these things now more than ever. So now is when decisions need to be made. And if they're not forthcoming with that information,
It's not going to be on June 4th, at least.
they got to come out with a price soon. They have to. They can't give us the price a month before the
They won't
console
do it.
releases.
I'll bet you that they won't do it before Microsoft.
I don't know. I'm guessing it's
Probably
really
not.
high.
They're playing chicken right now.
It's at least 500. Like that's the time. That's what I assume it will be. That's what I think everyone assumes it will be.
And I think they want some games in front of people before they name that price so that people don't immediately I'm not going to buy that.
Yeah.
They want some hype.
Yeah.
And they haven't had time
That's
to
why I
release
think
it.
June 4th is a really good time to talk about it, because they
That's
will
when
be
they talk about the games.
displaying all of the games. Right. That's the thing, is that they release all the games and they say, and by the way, here's what the console is going to cost.
Not going to
And
do
then
it.
leave.
Not going to do
Just
it.
leave.
I'll bet you any amount of money they're not going to announce the cost then.
They probably
I will
won't,
bet
but
you
they should.
one PlayStation.
I'll bet you a PlayStation 5.
Really? Are you guys really going to bet a PlayStation 5? Andrew says that they are going to announce a price on June 4th. Nick says that they're not.
No, they won't. No, that's a dumb bet because they won't.
Yeah, they won't. They won't. I have to agree with Nick on this one, but that
Edie, you want to take that bet? I got a Wii U from you. I would love to get a PlayStation 5 from you.
Nope. Not going to take that bet. That's. I'll bet you something, but it's not going to play PlayStation 5.
that'd be a good bet. Although June 4th, I'd be nervous as hell. Just
So we
Not
got
even
Chris
think-
Salazar in the chat room, who is the person that introduced me to Nick all those so many moons ago.
Yeah.
How you doing, bud?
Chris.
Well, welcoming Andrew to the show.
What's the new game developed by SpaceX?
Well,
Is he
I mean,
talking
there's-
about the launch? The actual
the
space?
launch that happened. Did you watch it, by the way, yesterday?
Mm-mm.
I did. I made Kevin come in. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I gotta
Yeah,
say,
it's cool.
the SpaceX launching one thing immediately evident of a privatized company going to space versus a NASA, a public entity going to space. The video is way better. Holy crap! That thing has video cameras all over the fucking place. Like, they did the marketing right, and it was awesome because you got angles from every angle. Like, you're literally in with like a high definition camera inside the cockpit as they're taking off, and it's fucking awesome. It was the first time I've actually seen astronauts, like, felt like I was there with them. Like, could see them not just one side or one picture or one awkward, angle, like all of the angles behind them, so you could see the touch screen stuff on their controls for the left, through the right, over their shoulders, forward. It was the whole 9 yards. It was like cameras freaking everywhere. It was great. And also cameras all the way outside. Anything that's separated, there was like 3 or 4 cameras, different angles showing the separation happening. It was awesome.
It's as much a television production as it is
Oh,
a
it was
launch.
as much a television production as it was a launch. Absolutely. It was the best launch video ever. And if you have not watched it, watch it. It is, just wait until, to like a little bit before takeoff, like 3 minutes before, 5 minutes before takeoff, all the way through the first, I would say 15 minutes. It's fucking incredible. It's
That's awesome.
absolutely from every angle, and not like this grainy, shitty video, like HD best cameras money can buy shit. And then of course seeing, the planet just fall away from behind these guys is crazy. So yeah. Very, very cool. Good viewing. Great viewing, especially if you're even remotely a spacewalk.
Cool.
All right, so I guess that's it. Anything else before we close out the show? It is a long show, but then again, I expected it to be because, Andrew has a lot of games to talk about because he plays a lot more games than we do and fills in a huge gap that both Nick and I have.
I've been stuck on one game. For a
Right,
while.
and then before that, you were doing a bunch of mobile games, which Andrew gave me
I'm still
flack
playing
for.
that game, that other Final Fantasy game, which I enjoy.
I do have a mobile game to talk about, Nick, at some point.
Oh yeah, good.
Yeah, I
Something.
got one.
Something tomorrow. Or
Yeah.
not tomorrow, but next week.
You heard it now.
All right, so thank you everyone for joining us on the show. Thank you for joining us on this new date. Thank you for the link to the SpaceX launch on YouTube. Fucking watch it; it's awesome. And but anyway, we gotta go. So shall we close this out, gentlemen?
Yeah.
All right, let's close this out. You've been listening to GameHounds, episode 547. We recorded this on May 31st, 2020. I've been Edie Sellers. With me has been Nick DiNicola and Andrew Smith. Ways to get a hold of us is gamehounds.net is our website. Gamehounds@gmail.com is our email. We record this show live every Sunday at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern on Spreaker. That's speaker with an R, Spreaker.com. If you are listening to us on the audio chat on Spreaker, thank you so much. We also can be heard after the fact on Spreaker, or you can also go to iHeartRadio or iTunes. If you listen to us via audio on either of those two places, thank you, and leave us feedback so others can find us. Now, we also do the show as a live video stream on YouTube and Facebook. On YouTube, we're under GameHounds Vids. That's GameHounds VIDS as in videos. We're also on Facebook under The GameHounds. If you are watching us, hey, everybody watching us on YouTube right now, click below, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications so that you can, yes, right down there, the bell of notifications. Hit us and so that you can get notified of our stream when we bring them up. And also on Facebook, go ahead and follow us and get notifications from us as well so that you know when we go live on on Sundays, every Sunday at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern on Spreaker, YouTube, and Facebook. I think that's it. I think I got everything. Nick, Andrew, thank you so much for being on the show. Andrew, welcome to the GameHounds, baby. This is our virtual hug. Virtual
Welcome.
hugging you.
Yes.
And
Yes.
everybody in the chat room, including all the people that we haven't seen in a really long time that can now join us, including Clayton Jackson and Miles Thompson. We have a bunch of new people that we've never seen before. Chris Salazar, of course, thank you so much for being here. But Eric Baker and I'm Jacob Andrews. And there was Vice. Thank you so much for joining us. Tons of other people. Thank you for being here. I'm sorry if I didn't call out your name, but we will talk to you next week. Have a great week. Wash your hands, wear your masks, social distance, stay safe, and most importantly, be kind to others. It's a difficult time. We will only get through this together. Take care. Have a great weekend, everyone. Or week. Yeah, whatever. Have a great week, everyone. Bye-bye.
Have a good weekend, but fuck your week. Hope your week sucks.
And we're out. All right, so we're still live on the video feed. Guys, thank you so much again for joining us on the video feed. Super, super happy to have you. Such a good show. Andrew, I'm so happy to have you here. Really, really excited.
That's good for this guest
yeah,
appearance.
you did
I will
really
come
well.
back in a year.
Yeah, you did super well. And
Yeah.
you were here, you were all nervous, and you're like a freaking professional. Everybody, let us know in the chat room right now. How did Andrew do? His first show? Never done a podcast before. I mean, he's been a guest, like on a podcast, sort of, but never been on a podcast before this. I think he knocked it out of the park. He absolutely killed it. So cops are rioting all over the countries like little babies. This week sucks for a lot of people. Yeah, this is a bad week. This is a super bad week. Another reason. AC
Stay in
Wraith
and play
is- He's
games.
okay.
I'm never going to win AC Wraith over. I'm trying to get you to play on PlayStation 4. And now
Corey Wallace
that's-
says, fuck
that's right.
Konami. AC Wraith, really, the Spreaker still says Wednesdays, and Twitter does not update. Okay, I will fix that right now as soon as I'm off the show. Eric Baker says you did really good. Bitter says come back next week. Yeah, he's definitely coming back next week. I now have his cell phone number. I'm definitely going to be calling him. He
And
doesn't,
Kaz,
he doesn't get to like leave. He's going to get pestered. I will stalk the shit out of him.
Is his number in your phone different than your boss's number?
Yes. Let's make sure. Where the fuck are you?
Yeah.
which Andrew Smith are you?
Make sure you call
you coming
the
on the
right
show next
Andrew
week?
Smith. Yeah, that
Whenever
would
I-
be bad.
Whatever gets a
Hey,
nickname.
fucking slacker, get off your fat ass and get on it. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Kaz is a
this is
friend
going
of
to be
mine.
awesome.
And she said great too. Just want to
Who?
point her out. Kaz. Kaz.
Kaz.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yep. Kaz says great. Yeah, I think Andrew is a keeper. I knew he was a keeper before he was on the show, but now I'm absolutely sure he's a great keeper. He's definitely
Creeper.
a good ad. He's a creeper. He's a total creeper.
Oh,
Creeper.
yes.
Creeper
Feel like
keeper.
this from now on.
So, since you're watching
yeah.
on here still, first off, need to pimp the show. We are the GameHounds podcast. We have talked about this multiple times. I should put that up there more often in case you discover us. Because by this point, if you've watched us for 2 hours, you're a committed fan. But yes, we are GameHounds podcast. Please feel free to definitely hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. But GameHounds.net is the website. And also, if you love this show, please, please, please do us a favor. Become a patron through Patreon, patreon.com/GameHounds. We would love to have you become a patron. I have got to go check and start pimping out and being a pimp for these people who have helped us keep this live stream going. Were it not for you, this live stream would not exist. So thank you. Even though I don't have your stuff up here right in front of me, I will absolutely call out your names next week. If were it not for you, this show would not exist. Bottom line, we would not have this because when I was unemployed and we introduced this live video stream, I didn't have the money to do it. And I got the free 30 days and you all responded in a huge way and made the difference between this being a 30-day experiment that died at the start and something that has been going on for quite some time. So thank you for doing that. I truly, truly appreciate it because I'm really enjoying the live stream. I think it adds a lot, and on top of that, I get to see you guys talking, and we get to make rude gestures at each other all the time. So,
Rude gesture.
yeah, more rude
There it is.
gestures. Miles Thompson says he done good. He done good, son.
Thank
Yep.
you, everyone. I do appreciate it.
All right, so next week we will be back at 2 p.m. Pacific. Yes, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern on Sunday, back here, same bat time, same bat place. Like I said, make sure to hit that bell for the notifications so that you will know when we go live, because we're not always exactly on time. That way you don't have to be sitting here at 2 o'clock while we struggle through all of our technical bull crap getting everything done. And you can be right here as soon as it happens. Just get an alert on the toilet, because that's apparently where everybody does everything. Right, Nick?
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Have a great week. Be kind to each other. Truly, it is very challenging to do so right now. But now is the time for compassion, for love, and peace, love, and understanding. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.